cannot understand what I'm telling you, what's the point of giving you that information? What are you going to do with it? Absolutely nothing, because you don't understand it. That's what some of the great teachers have done in my life. I don't understand it. Break it down for me. Make me understand it. You know me as a person, as a human being. Explain it to me in ways that make sense. So I call this Yankees move data for dummies. Not that they're dummies, but they're not data guys.
I love
they're reading the
it.
book. Data for dummies. Look, this is what this means. Here are the numbers, but what does it actually mean? I love that, because a lot of the people who are upstairs, who are in control of this data, have never been in the batter's box, have never been in a dugout, who don't understand how players communicate with each other, what works, what doesn't work. They are smart people. They're reading the data, but you got to be able to communicate it. If you can't communicate your message, it's going to be lost.
Well, and your data means nothing, like you said, if the player who needs that data doesn't understand it. And by the way, you don't have the ability to turn your data into action or results. You can't hit. You can't step into that box. You don't have talent the way that that player has talent. You have the ability to understand data in a way that very few people do, but you need that interim person. I loved that answer, and I am surprised, based on the way that John Boy talked about it, that there aren't more teams that do this. Like, is anyone else surprised that there aren't more teams that have some kind of interim go-between between, like, here's what the analytics department is telling us, I'm going to now. Maybe teams just turn to a hitting coach and they expect that guy to do it, but I don't know. I kind of think that sometimes you need a designated person. That's his only job. His only job.
And I think there has to be other teams that do something like this, and this is part of the transition in sports. In football, we saw – I talked to Coach Timmy Chang when I called the Hawaii game, and he talked to me about how in 1998, 1999, they were the first ones at Hawaii to run the spread in the pistol type look with the running back right behind the quarterback, and everyone called him crazy for it. Now, eventually, 20 years go by, 15 years go by, almost every college team is in the shotgun, and you'll see them in pistol, you'll see the running back to the side. There always has to be someone first to do it, to go out there and say, all right, let's give this a try and see what happens. I think with the technology change that's happening in baseball, where they're looking at these iPads in the dugouts now, positions are going to start being formed organically. You're going to need somebody. Something's going to happen to where, Stacey, you're going to explain something to me in a way that I've never heard, and then say, all right, we need that all the time. Let's create a position for Stacey, because she's able to explain this in a way that makes sense to all of our players. As sports change, as they have more information and the technology changes, jobs are going to start reappearing. Same thing in college football. Now they're starting to use the iPads on the sideline. Live motion picture on the sideline. They have departments dedicated just to those iPads and making sure that information is relayed that way. I think this is something that's going to catch on. I don't know how many teams are or aren't doing it, but you have to assume that more teams are going to start doing that.
Well, and if the Mariners are doing it, my mistake, my apologies.
Ain't doing it well.
I feel like we would have heard about that.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like in all the questions that were levied at this organization about, is it ever too much for the players? Is there too much information? You would have had someone say, like, hey, we have someone whose single job is to take this information and translate it for players. He's not a hitting coach. He's not anything. His only job is to make the information we have digestible and make it matter.
Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe they need to adopt something like that, or be better at it if they already do it.
Be better at
frankly,
it.
To be better at a lot of things. And one of those other things, adding to their lineup. You've pointed to this a ton, Bump, being able to add to your lineup, and particularly add guys that hit for contact. I liked that he said, John Boy, you know, you wouldn't realize it, especially in the last 3 games, but Aaron Judge and Juan Soto, their home run numbers, and because they slug, you don't realize that they hit for contact. And we kind of simplify teams, right? Oh, power hitter? Oh, are you going to get a ton of strikeouts with those guys? And, like, sometimes that's true. But the Mariners need to add desperately contact bats to their lineup. Desperately.
It's almost like a slap in the face when I heard John Boy say that. It's like, all right, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Not only do they hit bombs, you know, I know that's what you look at, but they're really contact hitters.
Not only is she a 10, but she's a rocket scientist.
Exactly.
You wouldn't realize that.
I'm like, no, we don't realize that because she's a 10. All right, I haven't spoken to her. I just see her.
I thought she was an idiot.
TV.
Now I'm offended.
You know, it's and for them, and how are they able to get those type of guys with that hit for contact, hit bombs? They go out there and put themselves out there. I was watching the game last night at Cut Shop in Woodinville. I keep telling you to go there.
Woodinville, do you know how far? Woodinville is 4 hours
Do you know how
away.
far Seattle is for me? Okay?
That's true.
I show up every day.
For work. I already texted Derek. I said, Bump said we got to go to the cut shop in Woodinville.
You got weekends,
okay.
though. You got
I
weekends.
know,
Get
I'll
off your
go.
couch.
Woodinville's
I'll
nowhere
go.
near
Okay,
anybody
I get
on
off
this
my
show.
couch sometimes. Okay, I would just like it to be very clear. I did laundry this weekend
What if
and
I
I
told
went
you
to the
there was
grocery
a golden
store.
tea there?
I'm interested.
There isn't, though.
Oh, well, why didn't you tell me?
Wow,
You could have
bait and
lied to me.
switch.
I should have lied to her and just got her there. Just
You
get
really
there.
should have lied to me.
My bad.
Okay.
I don't know what the heck I was saying. Oh, I was watching the game at Cut Shop, and I'm sitting. It's the second time I've watched the game there, and the same guy is sitting there with his LA cap, and it's kind of like we're buddies now. Don't even know his name. But you sit there and
do you guys do the nod?
oh yeah, we say what's up, have conversations from LA, so it just it all
You
works out.
You don't know his name, but you know he's
don't know his name.
okay.
That's how guys work, though. We'll hang out for hours, and I don't know who you are, where you're from, but we're connecting over this game.
See, we as women meet each other in the bathroom, and we become best friends,
Exactly.
and then we never speak again.
Yeah. That's our bathroom. This is the bar top. So we're watching this game, and he's like me. He's a Mariner fan as well, but he's also a Dodgers fan. And we're trying to figure out, how do the Mariners not spend as much? And I love letting people talk. I don't even think he knows what I do for a living, and that's the best. When no one knows that I'm in sports media and they're just talking, we're having these organic conversations. And I have these conversations with people, and they all say the same thing. I want to say Mariners fans, the ones I encounter at least, are some of the smarter fans out there.
Totally.
And they're talking about how, we understand that you have to spend more. We're not asking him to spend a whole bunch. You can't spend like the Yankees. He's saying all this. He says, well, they're here when it comes to money and all that stuff. And I go, good. I go, so what do you expect? He goes, just one big swing. That's all we need. One big swing at a guy, and for them to let us know we made a swing for this guy. We're assuming that they contacted Soto. We're assuming they contacted Ohtani. At this point, I think the Mariners organization has to let the fans know, look, we went after this guy. He just didn't want to come here. And I think if you do that, then you start to lose some of the pressure that you get from the fans, assuming that you're not doing enough. But you can't always swing and strike out. You got to make some contact, like the batters that John Boy is talking about. You got to make some contact every now and then, because it seems like you're swinging and missing a whole bunch.
Yeah.
When it comes to free agency and the guys on the diamond.
I like your point, though. Like, tell me that you swung.
Yeah.
Tell me that you made an effort, and don't tell me that, we don't want to go after guys in free agency like Juan Soto because we have the money, but we don't really want to go for older players. Juan Soto is he younger than Julio Curtis?
No, he's 25.
Around the same age? Okay, so he's
a couple years older.
so he's 25, though.
Yep. He's young.
Really?
He's a youngster.
And now,
He's younger than George Kirby.
why don't
He's
you
younger than Bryce Miller.
just say, you know what? Our pockets aren't deep like that. We don't have Dodgers pockets. We don't have Yankees pockets, but we've got a hell of a farm system, and we're willing to be aggressive, and we want to win a World Series, and we're going to make the moves that we can, and we're going to spend our coins and our prospects and do things the way we believe it. Like, do that.
Yeah.
Be honest about that.
What's the drawback from that? Why are, and I don't know if this happens throughout the league, because I only follow two teams really.
Yeah.
The Dodgers and the Mariners. And with the Dodgers, you can just assume that they're going to be in the mix. When Ohtani was on the market, you knew the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Mets were going to make a run at these guys. And I don't know what secrecy is for, because when there's a hot player out there, it's not like it's a secret that he's available. It's a secret that Juan Soto is going to be available after the season, and the Yankees are going to have to pay him. It's not a secret that the Mets are going to make a play after him as well. What's the problem with coming out and letting your fans know this is what we're doing? Because it seems like with the Mariners, they're so tight-lipped with that type of information.
I want to know. And maybe we're being unfair in asking that, but I totally agree. Like, I would love to know, because you're right. Fans aren't stupid. No one's calling for Jerry DiPoto. I hope he doesn't feel this way. He shouldn't feel defensive that fans want him to spend like the Dodgers. They know you can't. It's okay. Like, they know you're not going to, and that you cannot, and you are unable to. They just want a little bit of transparency about what you're thinking, what you want to do, like the kind of club you want to build. And you kind of owe it to fans when things haven't been working out.
You know how much love Jerry DiPoto would get if after the fact, I'm not saying while you're going after this individual to let everybody know you're going after, but after the fact, when you have that conference, and if Jerry would have go out there and said, yeah, man, we made a run at Ohtani. We couldn't come together with numbers. We sat down with Juan Soto. We talked to his people. We couldn't match the offer. If he just came out and gave us one or two of those nuggets a year, and let us know what's going on the inside, I think that will buy him even more time.
I love nuggets.
He's already got more time. I love nuggets.
Yeah.
I like chicken tenders more than nuggets, though.
I do too.
Yeah.
Speaking of chicken tenders, do they have those at the Cut? Multiple people are saying I absolutely need to go. Someone said the French dip is amazing. And wow, look at this. Someone else said, I was literally just talking to my son, and then someone said, Bump, you should give Stacy a gift card.
That'll get you there? That thing it will expire by the time you get there.
All right, you guys, you're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael
First down,
Bumpus.
Bump, what's something the offense should do to help keep Geno clean?
That first series against the Bills, Geno had 2 footballs batted down. One that was almost batted down and caught for an interception. Thank goodness that didn't happen. The pocket just isn't clean for Geno. So what do you do to help quarterbacks when they cannot operate in a clean pocket or they're not getting the opportunity to operate in a clean pocket? You move that pocket. How do you move the pocket? With some sprint outs, with some rollouts. You motion that tight end from the right side. You motion them to the left. You roll out with them. You try to catch the defense slipping. You try to catch them in a slant. That means where they're on maybe the right side of the tackle, and that one tech who's in between the obviously right side of the center, and that one tech who's in between the guard and the center slants to the left side. They're gambling. And I'm seeing a lot of that against these Seahawks, and I'm seeing just a lot of blitz up the A and the B. So you get that pocket moving. It creates a wall. There are times where guys are going to slip through and they're going to make plays. It's not foolproof. It is not perfect. But I'm looking at Geno standing in that pocket, and half of the time he's getting pressure. He's the 3rd most pressured quarterback in the NFL. But half of the time he's getting pressure, and there are guys with hands up 2 or 3 yards in front of him. He has to stand there, and he has to make a throw. Every quarterback has to do that throughout a ball game. But every now and then, man, sprint him outside that pocket. And I think that getting the defense to flow to one side will create more throw lanes for him and then give him an option to run or get the ball out of bounds if there's nothing there. When he's standing in that pocket and he's constantly getting pressure, he's just a sitting duck at that point. And he's one of the best sitting ducks in the game because he is still making some great throws standing in that pocket. But you got to help him out. Move the dang pocket. Get those big boys moving. I think that'll help as well. I'm watching Anthony Bradford, and when he has leverage on a guy and he's on that shoulder underneath the pads, he's one of the strongest offensive linemen out there. He's throwing guys to the ground. But when it's straight up, constantly straight up, he seems to get beat every now and then, like every offensive lineman.
Sure.
But help a brother out. Move that dang pocket for Geno.
2nd down. Paul Moyer, he's French, has a take that you think describes exactly what's going on with the defense. What is it?
Here's the thing about my buddy Paul, man. He has so much football knowledge. He's been in the organization for like 35 years or something like that. And he's the president of a company. So every now and then he got time, and he gonna sit back, have his coffee, and send a long text about what he's seen on film, and we'll go back and forth. And the most recent text he sent me was last night, and he said, look, this defense just isn't in sync. And then he started to describe what we're talking about. We're not talking Justin Timberlake in sync. We're talking about everyone moving together. And I agreed with him, and then I went back and watched the film, and I agree with him even more, because in sync means that when that pocket is moving, like I just described for the offense, what I want the Seahawks offense to do is that you're moving with your gap. If that B gap starts right in front of you, and because the offensive line, it moves to the right, everyone on defense has to move with their gap. On a string, exactly. There are times where the defensive line is moving, bam, and the linebackers are stuck. The linebackers are moving, the defense is stuck. So it's just keeping gap integrity. We've said that a whole bunch of times this year, but keeping that integrity when that pocket is moving. And that's what we need to see for that defense. He also described the situation where there are 2 guys outside the tight end, and they both go outside the tight end. I guarantee you 2 guys aren't supposed to be outside the tight end and go outside. Why? You leave a gap butt naked on a Sunday, wide open. So they got to move. They got to be in sync, you know? Let's reference in sync. In sync when they're doing their little dances and stuff, they're in sync. Choreograph on point, bye,
They
bye,
had
bye.
it, man.
All that.
Were you in sync over Backstreet Boys or Backstreet Boys over in sync?
I was more Backstreet Boys.
I was
bit
too.
more mature.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I look at it as like a finely aged wine, and NSYNC is like a fun seltzer, and each have their wonderful qualities. But I have met few people who were Team Backstreet Boys over NSYNC.
Yeah.
But I just feel like Backstreet
NSYNC
Boys
was bigger though, right?
Yes, and like I look at it the same thing as Taco Time and Taco Bell. Curtis, tell me if I'm wrong. Backstreet Boys are Taco Bell. NSYNC is Taco Time. Do you see the vision?
I can see it.
Do you see what I'm? Do you see what I'm saying? It makes sense to me.
Sure.
Third down. Something happened to the Seahawks that you're 90% sure will never happen again. I hope it's a loss. What was it?
I can't guarantee that. I can't go 50% on
You're
that.
not promising they'll never lose again?
I can't do that.
Okay.
But there are some things that happen in a football game to where you just shake your head, but you also realize you're probably not going to see that again, and that's just unfortunate. You are inside the 5-yard line. You're going for it on fourth down, and your center steps on your quarterback as he get into a drop back. You'll never see that again this year, not from Geno. You will not see a situation where Connor steps on his foot and he's down. Now you turn the football over. You will not see Connor Williams snap the ball over Geno's head like that again this year. How many games have you watched in your Seahawk covering career and you've seen a professional center snap the ball over your quarterback's head? I'm sure it's happened.
Twice.
Exactly. But you can't even remember, but you're going to leave room for error and say that probably happened. Those situations, the score was 7-3, 7-0. They go in and score on one of those, it's 7-7. They score on the next one, it's 10-7. Those type of things is where, when I look at the game, and of course there was bad tackling, there was poor protection. Geno made a couple horrible decisions. The pass game wasn't there, the run wasn't there. But those two situations alone took points off the board. You didn't get points off the Josh Jobe interception. He takes it 33 yards down there, and you look silly in the red zone. Those are the type of things that they're going to drill all week, and you're not going to see that again. It's so unfortunate because there were two huge plays that affected the game immensely, I believe, that were just unfortunate. You just got to shake your head and say the football guys wasn't rocking with us that day.
They really were not. 253, did Stacy just say Taco Bell is better than Taco Time? I sure did. I'll say it louder for people in the back. Tell me what Taco Time has ever done with a Dorito. They lack the creativity. They lack the vision. Unless they want to become a sponsor.
Then
I'll gladly change my tune. But I'm just saying, what have they ever done with a Cheez-It? They don't have a big Cheez-It.
Oh, my gosh.
They don't have the vision.
I like Taco Time better than Taco Bell.
I'm not even reading.
Well, yeah,
fourth
you
down.
have a shower bag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, bump is a type of wealth that we just won't
Goodness
understand. That's a
gracious.
Taco
Right.
Time wealth.
Have you ever collected fire sauce packets and just had them around the house?
Yeah,
Of
I didn't
course,
think
in the
so.
drawer. You know the drawer that has all the packets
Yeah, the drawer
in there.
that has the packets and the drawer that has the straws, and then you take out a straw that you've had for like 12 years and
Yeah.
it breaks apart in your hand. You're like, but I saved this straw for this moment. This is exactly what it was for. Fourth down. Why did you like the conflict between Derek Hall and Jaron Reed?
Here's another situation, a third situation that affected that game. When D Hall got that penalty, 3rd and 7. They're going to put that thing on the foot. You save yourself 4 points. You're still in this ball game. But the reason why I liked it, I didn't like the fact that D Hall got that late hit and they got the penalty and they ended up scoring off of that. But I did like that Jay Reed was holding him accountable. D Hall's playing at a ridiculous level right now. He is the best pass rusher on this team when you look at the numbers. Boye Mafe, I feel like, is a bit more seasoned, has more that he brings to the table. But D Hall is balling right now. And Jay Reed wasn't going to let that slide. How many times have we seen penalties and guys just pat him on the helmet and say, it's all good, we'll move on? I think there's a time and a place where you have to take that approach. You can't be angry at everything.
Yeah.
If you're angry at everything in a football game, you're not going to be able to execute at a high level. But I like that Jay Reed looked at the young man and said, look, you messed up. You got to be smarter than that. And then I love that D Hall went back at him. He's an alpha. Like, what you talking about, dog? And then I love that you see him on the sideline. They get after it again. There's fight. There's passion. I want that sometimes. And then I love that they squashed it and they got over it. My best friend, Elmer Rodriguez, you know how many arguments we done got in? We're locked up. You know, that's my boy. You know, we're young doing some dumb stuff and holding each other accountable. I appreciated it after the fact. In the moment, it's like, guys, you're embarrassing us in front of the friends on national television. America's game. Tom Brady's in the booth. Okay?
Yeah, you're
you guys
embarrassing us
are
in front of
embarrassing
Tom.
us. But you have to play this game with passion, and I appreciated Jay Reed holding him accountable, D Hall not backing down, but then realizing that the OG is just trying to put me up on game.
Our entire text line, I would say 90% of it are people chiming in, whether they're Team Taco Time, Team Taco Bell, and then there is a single person going, you know, D. Williams. One special teams take. One person's got their head in the game, and they're like, you know, Bump, I really have a question about, you know, punt returns and kickoff returns, and then everyone else is like, Taco Bell
I like
for
that these people
life.
text you and think we have no idea that Taco Bell's bad for you. That's the point.
Oh, I love
right?
someone saying that Taco Bell is so bad for you. I know that I'm eating cement.
Yeah.
However, again,
These beans are not real beans.
as an artist, I respect creativity, and I think Taco Bell brings that to the table. The Carolina Hurricanes had a rough time leaving Seattle on Saturday night after the win over the Kraken. We'll tell you what happened next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
When they play well, they can beat most teams, but they are not good enough to get in their own way. They're not good enough to overcome mistakes that other really good teams can make mistakes and overcome them. They are, the old Bill Parcells. You are what your record says you are.
I'm not willing to go there yet. I feel like they can come back and possibly beat a good team, and they're going to get tested. Next week, if we're talking about a really bad game and a loss to the Rams at home, then I might be more on your side.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and we got some exciting news at the station. Riverside Roofing and 710 have renewed our partnership into a deal that will carry us into our 8th calendar year working together. A big thank you to Don, Brandon, Jordan. Not only are those guys terrific roofers and businessmen, but even better people. And I've been fortunate to get to know them, text them back and forth, playing golf together. Just truly awesome people. And all that matters when choosing who you want to work with. People want to work with people they like. And most importantly, they want to work with people they can trust. And that's Riverside Roofing. You've heard me say it for years now, and you'll continue to hear it for a whole lot longer because it's true and it works. We've had people text into the show. They say, Salk, you told me I could trust them, and you were right. If you have an upcoming roof replacement, they need to be your first call. Again, big thank you and congratulations to Riverside Roofing. You can find them at riversideroofingllc.com, and they are the roofing company you can trust. That's riversideroofingllc.com.
Want to listen to Seattle sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
This is the story of a very special woman. Just a few knew about her superpowers. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
How is your job to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
At Shane Company, we believe everybody is made to shine. So put on earrings that make you sparkle, diamonds that light up the room, a modern heirloom you'll treasure. We're all made to shine. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This holiday season, Capital One reminds you to give yourself the gift of 1.5% cash back with the Capital One Quicksilver Card.
Can I earn 1.5% cash back on birds?
Birds?
What if you sent your true love 2 turtle doves plus a partridge in a pear tree?
Sure, but why would anyone want that?
The song was very convincing.
Earn 1.5% cash back on all your holiday purchases with the Capital One Quicksilver Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Febreze. So my home is also my office, and before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Whew, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
The Mike McDonald Show. The first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino. Seahawks Insider. Brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Now here's Maura Dooley.
The Seahawks have scored first in only 3 of their 8 games so far this season. They've managed to win 4 of those despite the slow start, but they would obviously like to find a way to start faster on a consistent basis. Geno Smith spoke about that after Sunday's game.
You know, we shown that we can fight back and get back into games, but you don't want to make a living out of that. So, you know, for us, man, we talk about starting fast, 2 3 and outs to start the game. That's unacceptable. That's not the standard. Just the way that we started the second half, didn't get points, had a turnover, not the standard. And so when you talk about all the things that we want to do well, I don't think we did any of those today. And so we got to look at ourselves, look in the mirror, and take it from there.
The Seahawks Insider is brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. For the latest on the Seahawks anytime, go to seattlesports.com.
Hey, Brock Heward here, and I have had my share of sports injuries, and I know a little bit about pain. Well, that's what football will do to you from head to toe. But you don't have to play professional sports to know what I'm talking about. Painful joints from arthritis can affect anyone and make it hard to do pretty much anything. Well, that's where my friend, Dr. Daniel Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine comes into play. He has seen so many patients through the years suffering from chronic joint pain caused by arthritis. So don't let pain stop you from your quality of life. Don't let pain stop you from enjoying life. Consider Dr. Nelson the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. That's right, your own stem cells and platelet-rich plasma to harness your own body's healing potential. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good?
Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Keep your business connected with Comcast Business Internet and Wi-Fi backup. Or get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online today. Ends 11/17/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet and security edge. EcoBill and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It's The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, reading you the top stories you're going to see and hear about in the world of sports. So we are stepping outside of Seattle for this one. Well, kind of. The Hurricanes couldn't. Carolina had a rough time leaving Seattle on Saturday night after their win over the Kraken. Here's a thread of events from Sportsnet's Dan Murphy. Dan starts with, what did the Hurricanes do for a post-game meal Saturday night after their plane broke down and they had to bus from Seattle to Vancouver? Let's get to it. It's a thread. He says, usually teams eat on the plane, but since that wasn't an option, Brent Burns got on the McDonald's app and placed an order for his teammates. That's so nice. The pickup spot was in Everett. But when the Hurricanes arrived, the walk-in option to the store was closed. Only drive-through was open. Okay, so he tries to walk through the drive-thru, but then he's told by the McDonald's employee they need to be in a car. I'm going to pause and say this would already annoy me.
He's on the team bus though. There's no way he can fit through a McDonald's.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. If I've placed an order for pickup and the walk-in option is closed, I'm guessing it's very, very late. The walk-in option's closed though, and I'm like, but this is for pickup, and you won't let so I can't leave the store with my food. I'd already be annoyed. I'm just saying.
For sure.
So, what's Burns going to do? What would you do in this moment, Bump?
I would explain to them, listen, this is the situation. I've ordered through the app. You guys accepted the order. Now the walkthrough is closed. I got this big, bus back here. I have 20 to 30 professional hockey players. This is not
starving.
It's not your average Joe Schmo off the street drunk trying to walk through the drive-through.
Yeah.
I need to feed my team.
Yeah.
And you got to be a little stern, but you also have to be a bit nurturing at the same time. You got to be a parent in that situation. Like, you feel my anger, but I want you to know, look, we can fix this if we just talk through it.
If we just figure it out. Curtis, what would you have done? Would you have tried to bargain as well with them to let you in?
I would have said, look, I won't set foot in your restaurant because I know the dining room is closed, but you can just hand me the stuff through the front door, right?
We
You can have an employee
jail
walk
mode,
out.
Slide it through some kind of slot or something. He did not do that. Burns instead approached a random driver. So again, this is sometime after midnight. He goes up and he knocks on the window of this guy's car and says, hey, can you take me through the drive-thru?
I like that.
You know?
Smart.
And I just want you to know he has missing teeth and a giant beard. And this man has no idea that this person is a professional hockey player. Anyways, mission accomplished, says Dan Murphy. He gets the order. Dan Murphy says, not sure what it was, but 100 cheeseburgers has been rumored. So Burns didn't want to confirm anything at all about this, telling me only to eat lean meats like venison and elk. He said, I tried to get Burns on camera to deliver the definitive details, but he basically said, I don't know what you're talking about, with a grin on his face.
What surprises me is that I keep hearing about professional teams going to McDonald's. Y'all going to McDonald's?
It was a desperate situation, though.
Yeah,
Calls for
I
desperate
guess.
measures.
Yeah.
Man, Mickey D's?
Their team flight wasn't happening out of Seattle, so they had to hop on a bus.
Bump, you win a game, okay? Let's assume it's 7 p.m. and every fast food place is open. And your team says, Bump, where are we going to eat? Only fast food options.
I mean, I'm going to eat it.
No, but I'm saying, where are you saying, let's go here?
Man, I'd probably take Jack in the Box over McDonald's.
What?
Yeah, I'd take Jack in the Box over McDonald's. Have you a McDonald's cheeseburger? I don't even know if that's real meat. I don't even know if it's real meat.
And you're so sure about Jack in the Box?
Hey, I
Jack
feel
would
like
never lie.
I feel like it's realer. It's realer than McDonald's. It's realer than McDonald's, man.
Jack in the Box.
I
Wow.
take Jack in the Crack all day.
I didn't see you going in that direction. Curtis, would you go talk about the curly fries or bomb? Oh, I know my answer. Curtis.
If I'm McDonald's or Jack,
No.
any
Which
restaurant?
fast food place? You got to take your team for a meal. Bump is going Jack in the Box.
If Wendy's is open, I'm going Wendy's.
Wendy's was my
I was gonna
answer.
say, yeah, that's a pretty.
But Wendy's ain't open late like Jack in the Crack at McDonald's.
That's true. Okay, so it's Wendy's. Is it Wendy's for you, Curtis?
I think so.
I love this story. I know it's an opponent who unfortunately beat the Kraken.
They were resourceful. They got the job
love
done.
the idea of going up to a stranger saying, can I sit in your car and can you take me through the drive-thru so I can pick up 100 burgers?
I give him like $50
for the
too.
Carolina Hurricanes.
I give him like $50.
You know, I'd give him, yeah.
Well, and also, if you're a McDonald's worker and you see an order for 100 cheeseburgers come in that late at night, you're probably thinking some idiot is like messing with us.
Yes.
He doesn't actually want 100 cheeseburgers.
Yes.
I wonder if like the team had to call ahead and be like, no, this is a legit order.
Well, and maybe at all times you go in your uniform with a hockey stick. Just so they know, you know? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. Moving on. Congratulations to the Hurricanes for getting their food. I will not congratulate you for a win. The D.C. area TV news interview at the Commanders Stadium was interrupted Sunday. I wonder why. Oh, with Washington's game-winning Hail Mary, and then all hell broke loose.
I feel as though it was a good game because it was close. Like, I feel as though we won, for real. We like... What I say? We won! We won!
What I say?
The confidence at the beginning with like, you know, it's. I'm gonna play it one more time.
I feel as though it was a good game because it was close. Like,
it was close. It was close.
I feel as though we won, for real.
I feel as though we won. We won. I love that guy. I love him.
That's pure joy and energy right there. The human experience. I love that.
I also loved that ending to the game. I, like you, I didn't watch it live.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it trending after and then clicked on the video and was like, oh my God, like look how far this travels. It was quiz for you guys. Oh my God, I took a screenshot specifically to quiz you guys on this after this game. So there have been, let's see, a couple Hail Marys. I think it was something like 8 Hail Marys since 2012 that have won a game like that in the final couple seconds of play. Okay, go ahead, Hail Mary touchdown in the final 10 seconds. There have been, since 2006, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Can you guys tell me, outside of Jaden Daniels to Noah Brown, one other?
Kyler Murray.
Yes.
Hopkins.
To DeAndre Hopkins,
Aaron
43
Rodgers.
yards.
To
Yes.
Rodgers.
Yes.
And Aaron Rodgers has another one, too. That's 2.
Do you know the Seahawks?
Oh, Russell Wilson?
Yes.
To Golden Tate?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then in 2010.
What year? When
2012. It feels like
12?
it's been.
Man.
Doesn't that feel like, I don't know why in my mind that was after their Super Bowl visit.
Was it Brett Favre to Sidney Rice?
No,
Was that one of them?
it's 2010 David Gerard to Mike Thomas.
Jags, yeah.
Yeah. That
Hey,
one,
I need you guys to confirm something for me.
Yes.
Please tell me this is false.
Okay.
Someone says, FYI, Bump, Dick's and McDonald's use the same burger meat. That has to be a lie.
How do they know that?
How do you know that? And
Are
I'm
they
not
on the
going to believe
inside?
that. Because if that is true, you just ruined Dick's Burgers for me.
I need confirmation and proof and evidence. And this person needs to send
Doesn't
us
McDonald's
what they got.
freeze their patties, though?
Why
I'm
would
pretty
they?
sure Dick's does not.
Well, also why? Dick's is local, right? Whereas McDonald's is obviously international. Why would they use the same burger meat? We need to get to the bottom of this. I have one more story very quickly for our very own Matt Nelson. The December 9th Monday Night Football game between the Cowboys and Bengals will have a Simpsons-themed stream on Disney+. Matt, are you excited?
This is such a genius idea.
Are
What a
you
perfectly cromulent broadcast this is going to be.
Are you going to actually watch this game?
I am actually.
Really?
I will watch this game.
Matt's going
I'm
to come
intrigued.
in with football lingo after. He's going to be like, man, I've been saying
He's gonna
Joey
be
B.
taking notes.
He's not, people aren't paying enough attention to his season. All right, you guys, ESPN's Brady Henderson joining us top of the hour. Don't go anywhere.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
Lumen Field and the cantilever way in which it was built allows that stadium to be louder than it should be.
Isn't that where that song was written? It goes up and then it stays down.
Everybody's hands go up and they stay there.
Yeah.
And then they stay there.
They don't
all
go
I
down.
do is win.
Right. Why would the hands go down?
And then
they go down. And then that just doesn't make a lot of sense. He does say up, down, up, down.
Thank you. I don't honestly feel quite as stupid as I did.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T level is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Text the word BOOST to 65555 to book your free T check. They have helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Text the word BOOST to 65555. That's BOOST to 65555. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Message and data rates apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help and stop to cancel. ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy policy for how to opt in. Info will be used and ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of service.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
This is a paid political announcement. A Bob for Bob update. Under 12 years of Bob Ferguson as Attorney General and Chief Prosecutor, we in Washington have seen a lot of increases. This, of course, includes a 26% increase in violent crime, 58% increase in homicides, and Washington ranking 4th in the country in stolen vehicles in 2023, behind California, Texas, and Florida. Oh, and according to the FBI, Washington was the 8th most dangerous state between 2020 and 2022. Don't ask for help if you drive a Hyundai or a Kia that's been stolen. What has AG Bob Ferguson done? Bob's been busy planning his governor's campaign and keeping Washington last in the country in law enforcement officers per citizen. As the leader of the Bob for Bob committee, I encourage you to vote Bob if you want more of these crippling policies for Washington, so Bob gets what he's always wanted, governor. Paid for by the Bob for Bob Committee, 1283 Puyallup, Washington, 98371. Top 4 donors, Steve Gordon, Fremont Dock Company, Brian Haywood, and Susie Burke.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Build better benefits for your employees with the MBA Health Trust. The Master Builders Association of King and Snohomish Counties offers quality and affordable health benefits for local construction businesses. Learn more at mbahealthtrust.com.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you, guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about the bar. Not where you get drinks. I'm talking about the bar exam. That rigorous beast that's required to practice law. You've got to pass it, but not anymore. Soon students can pass on the bar exam instead of passing it. Can you imagine unlicensed electricians burning down the house? Plumbers? Yuck. Dentists? Ouch. Fortunately, all our lawyers have passed the bar exam with flying colors. And with that comes over 300 five-star reviews, over 30 years in business, and a 90% success rate getting cases reduced or dismissed. So call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com. The world is changing fast. Rely on the best in the business. Bar none.
1-800-DUI-AWAY. From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Mike McDonald, after that loss to the Bills, was asked whether the loss is indicative of where the Seahawks are as a team. He had this to say.
I think that's a good question. You know, we talk about stacking wins around here, and when you're going on and off, back and forth, it's frustrating. You want to be able to build on the good things that we're doing, so we can get our program to where we want it to go. And then when you take steps back like today, it's very sobering. It's frustrating, and but this is the NFL, and if you don't bring it and have your best against good teams, you're not going to win those games. So our guys know that, and us as coaches, we got to prepare our guys the best we can. We got to call great games. This whole thing has to keep coming together. So, but time is ticking, as we say. we're about halfway through the season now, and but you take a step back. We're right in the thick of it in the division, and this game coming up is going to be a big one.
Did you hear his answer? A lot of what he's saying sounds convoluted and kind of all over the place, but it's because that's where this team is. That's Mike McDonald telling reporters, yeah, sometimes we take a step forward and it's great, and then we take a step back and it's frustrating. At the same time, it's any given Sunday, and you got to bring your best. And when you don't bring your best, you learn from it. He's all over the place, and that's intentional because that's where this team is. So, Bump, I found myself thinking, well, where are the Seahawks right now? Where are they? And what's really weird is they are simultaneously rebuilding with a clear personnel gap and a brand new coaching staff. And at the same time, they're in a playoff hunt with just the nature of this division. You don't see that often.
So we were talking about this during the break.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I describe this to people? And what I love about the Seattle area or any city is that there's a bunch of old buildings out there. I love history. You went to Boston this summer. You got to see a whole bunch of old buildings.
Very cool.
And
Lots of
I'm always like, how the heck are they still standing? The technology, what are they doing? It's because they work on these buildings. They don't just leave it and let it go. And I looked up just the oldest buildings in Seattle. You got Denny Hall, that's in downtown. It was Washington campus. You probably know Denny Hall, right?
I had a class there.
All right, there you go. 1895, that thing was built.
Wow.
You got the Ballard Carnegie Library.
Okay.
Built in 1689, that thing was built.
God.
How the heck are these buildings still standing? Because they work on its foundation. They go on the inside of it and make sure the structure is still good.
That's deep.
For 14 years, you have this building that's been the Seahawks, and you still have the building. You still got some of the old pieces from the building. Schneider's still here. I'm sure people in the upstairs in the data department are still here, but you got new coaches and some new players. So what they're doing is they still have this building, which is the Seattle Seahawks, that has this reputation of having one of the best stadiums or fans in all the land, which had a reputation of having a really good defense, once had a reputation of having a Pro Bowl quarterback and a top offense. And you still look at the Seahawks in that way, but in reality, they're inside the building working on this thing frantically. Right? They got one room fixed. They thought they did with the defensive lineman. Maybe they have to do a couple more things there. They have to work on this bathroom, which are the linebackers. You add a piece there. Now you're working on that. But the building looks the same because you still got some guys like Gino who are still here. DK, you got Tyler Lockett. So from the outside looking in, you're like, no, what, you guys are good. What do you mean? But you go inside, there's so many things that are being worked on that you're going to have your valleys and your highs throughout a full season.
And there are some teams that get to do that rebuilding while, not by choice, but by virtue of rebuilding, sitting out the playoffs. You are rarely talking about a team that is deep in rebuild mode or dealing with a brand new coaching staff. Typically when you're talking about those teams, you're going, okay, let's talk about this, looking forward. Let's talk about a 5-year plan. Let's talk about where you want to be in 3 years. Let's talk about quarterbacks at the top. Let's talk about what you're taking with pick number 5. That's not where the Seahawks are.
No.
Not only are they not going to be staring at pick number 5, they are tied in first place in a very crowded NFC West. And so you start talking about making the playoffs and you feel stupid. Like you watch them lose to the Giants, you watch them get manhandled by the Bills, and then you talk about winning the West and you feel kind of dumb, but you realize that that's a reality. So if you're Mike McDonald and you're asked, where's this team at right now? Your answer is, well, God, if he had to speak completely bluntly, right? If he got to be completely honest, this is what I bet he'd say. A lot of stuff I want to fix, but I want to win, and we can.
Yeah, we can. It doesn't feel good the way that these guys are playing, but you're getting some help. And every now and then you need some help, and you will gladly take that help because no one in this division has shown themselves to be dominant. But the help is going to run out pretty soon because the Niners are going to get healthy. The Cardinals are starting to believe in themselves. The Rams just came up with a big win. Luckily, they had a bye week, so they're sitting at 3-4. The division has been trying to help you, and you've missed some opportunities to take a couple steps and gain a game or two. So things got to happen a bit more quickly this week. You have to win this week. This is a must-win game. I think this is the first must-win game of the year for me when it comes to these Seahawks. Because going into the season, my expectations weren't that high, and I figured you're going to win a few ball games, and then you win 3, and you start to change a little bit. But now it's saying, okay, well, you're actually in the fight. I didn't expect the Seahawks to be in first place or tie for first place in the division 8-9 weeks into the season. I'm thinking, okay, the Niners will be up top. We'll see what the Rams look like, and you're really battling for 3rd or 4th place. So the fact that you're in this situation now means you have to have some urgency, and you have to fix things quickly. And thank you for the rest of the division for being so garbage and keeping these guys in it because it's going to make for a heck of a 3-week run.
360, sorry, young lady. Thank you. But there is NFW, no blanking way, he's saying, that this team will make the playoffs. No blanking way. They're going to lose by 20 or more this weekend. Mark my words. I hope not, but from what I've seen, there's no chance. But this is the thing, 360. I feel silly talking about the Seahawks as a playoff team, knowing that they have fundamental, potentially fatal flaws, knowing that they lost to a horrible Giants team that we got a much closer look at last night against the Steelers. But this division is weird. This is a weird division.
Yeah.
The 49ers can't get healthy and have some fatal flaws of their own. They should win. They're the better team. They have a better roster. They've executed better than you. Like, they should win. They might not. That's the reality of your situation. That is just as real as where your roster is and you needing a rebuild.
Yep. And real quick, 360. When's the last time we beat the Rams, Bump? Couldn't tell you. Well, actually, there was 2 years ago, right? When they beat them once in the regular season. They played them 3 times. Twice in the regular
Is that
season.
when they lost to John Wofford in the playoffs?
Once in the playoffs. I think that year. So what was that, 22? Was 22 the last time we got him?
That was also the end of the road for, if I'm remembering, Curtis, correct me if I'm wrong. Was that the end of the road for Jared Goff, too? It's when he got benched.
Yeah.
And you could just tell that the relationship
his hand was
broken.
jacked up, right? When his hand jacked up,
but there was
his thumb?
some kind of issue with
He hurt his thumb, but then the Rams didn't want to commit to putting him
McVay
back
clearly
out
did
there,
not trust him anymore. That relationship was broken. Maybe they had respect for each other as people, but it just, you knew that was the end of the road where you were like, oh God, they're paying this guy, but they don't want him to save the day.
Right.
So how's this going to end? It ends with a trade and Jared Goff going to Detroit, and both he and Matthew Stafford succeed with their new homes. So look at that. Everyone won, except for the Seahawks. The Seahawks are taking on the Rams this weekend. Speaking of, and Seattle Sports is excited to give away 4 tickets to watch the game in person. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, just text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776. We will send you a link to download. Enter for your chance to win. This contest runs through today only. ESPN's Brady Henderson joining us next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
Look like they need a veteran presence.
Totally surprising that Richard Sherman believes that the Seahawks would be better with Bobby Wagner. When Mike McDonald got here, he didn't really bring any coaches with him. Maybe some of the problems they're having not getting to the whole playbook stem from he's still teaching the coaches the system and not just the players.
Maura, can you every week find Richard Sherman? Because it brings out not only emotional and passionate, those are really astute points.
Oh, thank you.
You may not like this, but he sharpens you, Salk.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My entire family's obsessed with all things Wicked, but my kids can't stop watching the trailer, and now they're having a Wicked-themed sleepover. Do you think our internet can handle all of the streaming and memeing going on?
Well, we've engineered our Xfinity gateways to handle hundreds of devices at once, so they can all stay magically connected.
Wow. Are you a wizard?
I wish. No, just someone that won't let a bad connection burst your internet bubble. Now through December 31st, get thrillifyingly fast 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. Go to Xfinity.com to learn more. Keep the magic going from your screen to the big screen. And see Wicked, only in theaters November 22nd. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless bill and auto-pay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply, currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Hey, what are you doing up on the step stool?
About to clean these light fixtures. The whole family's coming over. And if there's even a speck of dust in the house, my abuela will find it.
Here, I got a Swiffer duster to help with that.
A Swiffer what?
A Swiffer duster. It has this cool extendable handle that reaches 6 feet to get high and low, with fluffy dusters that easily trap and lock dust.
So, no more step stool?
No more step stool.
Easily trap and lock dust from hard-to-reach places with the Swiffer duster. Love it or your money back.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory-certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien. I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. I'm a 5th-generation Pacific Northwesterner, graduated from UW and Seattle U School of Law. At Warrior Injury Law, we have years of experience in the trenches, fighting insurance companies for the people of Washington, my people. If you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law, battle-tested.
Eddie's!
Saying goodbye to my electric blanket. That's right. I've got an electric blanket. It's John Curley. We're not going to need it anymore because Home Comfort Alliance installed my heat pump, giving me dependable heating and AC while improving my air quality and comfort without my good old electric blanket. As a top Lennox Premier partner, Home Comfort Alliance has a long history of 5-star customer satisfaction. Call the comfort people and ask for the Curley Cash discount. Currently up to $4,000 in combined rebates and discounts. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
I have a handful of stories that really affected me personally in my career and how I handled employees. Lee Johnson, coming out of his office as a customer, asked me where the service department is. And I was like, yeah, go to the end of the hall, go up the stairs, go across the breezeway, open a door, go to the left. You want Chevy, go to the right. You want Mazda? Because I didn't even have enough time to say, hey, what kind of car do you have? Here comes Lee, and it's like, oh, man, come with me. Let me show you. And then have him come back and not dress me down is just almost like with that fatherly disappointment of like, hey, that's not how we take care of people. I mean, the right way is to walk her down to the stairs, walk her up the stairs, open the door for her, go over, cross the way, open up that door, introduce her to somebody. So she's comfortable, she's made it to the right place, and that we value the business. What you did was you made it seem like she was an inconvenience to you. Customers are the purpose of our day.
The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Stream every Seattle sports show with the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center Proton Therapy. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Colts former 4th overall pick Anthony Richardson has been benched for Joe Flacco per ESPN's Jeremy Fowler and Adam Schefter. That also means 2 of the top 3 quarterbacks taken in the 2023 NFL Draft have now been benched this season. That after Bryce Young was benched by the Panthers after week 2. Another bit of news about injury update for the Texans. Wide receiver Stephon Diggs is done for the season with a torn ACL. He's on the final year of his deal and is set to become a free agent in March.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. ESPN Seahawks reporter Brady Henderson joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Brady, Bump and I were just playing some sound of Mike McDonald. This is post-game, so you were at this press conference. I'm sure you remember. And he was asked, hey, what does this loss say about kind of where this team is right now? And, you know, is it indicative of the team and where you're at in any way? And he kind of had this long answer of trying to explain that, like, you know, we take steps forward and then we take steps back and it's frustrating, and who can blame him after that loss? I'm going to throw you the same question. It is very hard, so I don't envy you or Mike McDonald for answering it. But Brady, what does the Bills' loss say about where the Seahawks team is right now?
Well, I think a lot of the same issues that had plagued them all year were a huge factor in that game, and the main ones being they can't stop the run and they can't run the ball, and that's excuse me, that's exactly how Mike McDonald wants to play. I mean, he's a defensive-minded head coach who wants to lean on the run game and play tough defense. And, you know, the pass defense wasn't great in that game, albeit, you know, against a really good quarterback in Josh Allen, who gives teams a lot of issues with his ability to extend plays and make throws on the run and even run the ball himself. But the big issue in that game was the same issue that's been, you know, plaguing them all year, is that they just can't stop the run. And, you know, Mike McDonald has described that as, you know, mainly a second level issue. And he's tried to say that this is really not the guys up front. It's really, you know, the linebackers, and I would say the safeties and cornerbacks as well. So really a second and third level issue. And that explains the trade for Ernest Jones. And I think that's going to help them eventually. But, you know, and he had a solid game with 15 tackles despite only, you know, 2 practices with the team. So I think that should help them. But right now, you're not going to win very many football games when you can't stop the run and you can't run the ball yourself.
Hey, what's up, B? We've seen the Hawks address some things, right? The defensive line, you bring in Harris, and then linebackers, you just mentioned Ernest Jones. Trade deadline is coming up. Do you expect them to do anything? Because I'm looking at the offensive line and saying, okay, maybe there, but there's so many bodies in that room already. You've already drafted a couple guys, brought some veterans over. Is that realistic, or do you think they just sit still?
I mean, I'm sure they would love to, Bump. I'm sure they would love to find, a stud guard out there who's going to be an upgrade at really either one of those spots. But I think they would tell you that that guy probably isn't out there. Or if he's out there, that team that has him is not going to give up on him. I think they would have to be a really special circumstance for that to happen, just because everything we hear about, and I believe this is true, that, the Seahawks, they don't have a good offensive line. But I think that's indicative of a larger trend throughout the NFL where there's just not that many good players at that position. So the same conversation that we're having here, I'm sure other markets, the teams that they cover are having the same conversations as well about, the team not having enough difference makers on the offensive line. So I just don't know if that guy is available. I think with Seattle, they've got a chance to be better just with the players they've got coming back. We could see George Fant return this week. Abe Lucas is still a couple weeks away. I think the earliest that they're going to get him back is that Week 11 game at San Francisco. But when if you plug Abe Lucas into that lineup, or even George Fant, I think that gives them a chance to be a little bit better. And as Connor Williams gets his feet wet at center, Charles Cross is having a pretty good season, I think. So I think they would be probably closer to league average if they can get their right tackle situation solidified. And I think that's going to happen, whether it's Fant or Lucas. I think that spot should settle down here over the next few weeks.
Unfortunately, DK Metcalf is not going to come back to play tackle or guard for the Seahawks, but he could come back at wide receiver this Sunday against the Rams. Mike McDonald saying it's looking optimistic that Metcalf with that knee injury could return. What's that mean for the offense? Yeah, well, it would be huge for them for all the obvious reasons. And they really didn't have – I think they really missed him in that game, for all the reasons you might expect. But just consider their longest play from scrimmage was only 20 yards. I think it was a late 20-yard completion from Geno to A.J. Barner. So that was, according to our stats people at ESPN, that was the first time since 2017 that they didn't have a play longer than 20 yards from scrimmage. And so you obviously can put two and two together and say – they missed, one of the biggest, fastest receivers who has the ability to stretch the field. I think the concerning thing for them is that, they still weren't able to run the ball. It wasn't like the Bills were, they were bringing a safety up into the box because they weren't really worried about anybody on Seattle beating them deep. And the Bills play a lot of too high safety, and they pretty much did what they do in that game still, even with no DK Metcalf to have to deal with. And the Seahawks still couldn't run the ball. So it wasn't like they were running into a ton of loaded boxes. They were running into some pretty favorable box counts, or at least when they did run the ball, and they still couldn't really get much out of it. 0 yards in the first half, too. That's the other thing. It wasn't just a matter of the Seahawks, falling behind big in the second half and having to abandon the run. I mean, that definitely happened. But even in the first half, where it was a one-score game for much of the way, they had 0 net rushing yards. So that is, in addition to the run defense, that is still the big concern with this team. Maybe DK Metcalf comes back and helps that out because he forces teams to, to honor, his vertical speed a little bit more. But, that wasn't really the case like that. I don't think that was a huge issue against Buffalo.
We're 8 games into the season, 9 more left. And, the big talking point for this offense was always going to be Geno Smith. It's either I get 2 type of reactions. Be like either you love Geno or he is just so average and you want to get rid of him. Giving him his almost halftime report card throughout the season, what do you make of his play? And if he continues down this path, do you think he's still the quarterback here for the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think the conversation about Geno and just the polar opposite reactions that you get or opinions that you get, I think it's just a reflection of kind of where we are as a sports viewing society, where everybody is either trash or they're the GOAT, and there's never any room in between. But the reality is, there's a lot of room in between. And Geno Smith, I think, finds himself, he's a lot close. He's a really good quarterback, regardless of, what his worst moments are. He's a good quarterback. He's not I think this season is making it clear that he's not, one of the very top guys. The very top guys, I think, can really carry a team when not a whole lot is going on, not a whole lot is going well around them. And that's not really a slight on a quarterback, because there's really only 2, 3, 4 guys maybe who can do that. I think Geno is an above average quarterback, and anybody who's not Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, or, maybe there's a couple other guys in there, they're going to struggle when so much is put on their plate. And he is leading the league in passing attempts right now, in large part because the Seahawks haven't had a run game to lean on, and they haven't, because their defense has been so lousy, they've been forced into drop back mode a lot in order to make up for big deficits. So I think he's doing probably about as well as you could expect a quarterback to do under some pretty tough circumstances. Another one being the fact that his offensive line isn't very good. And it's not an offensive line that is built to, protect him as he drops back 40, sometimes 50 times a game, but that's been their reality. And so, some of the interceptions he has, I think the one thing that's not really good is that he only has 8 touchdown passes despite throwing the ball more than any quarterback in the NFL this season. He's got 7 interceptions. I would say a number of those were the product of tough luck when you consider just some of the deflections. There was the bad route that DK Metcalf ran in the San Francisco game, the interception he threw against Buffalo, that was on a tipped screen pass. So, maybe just with that play, maybe you would want him just to throw it in the dirt or throw it away. But there was a little bit of bad luck there with the pass getting tipped twice, and that's been the case on a few of his other interceptions. So all in all, I think the jury is still out, for Seattle at least, on whether he's the franchise guy. But as of right now, I think he's making the most, and he's doing as well as you could expect him to do under some pretty unideal circumstances.
Richard Sherman, in a video posted to X.com this morning, I believe from his podcast, had some criticism for the Seahawks front office in terms of the changes made at the second level. Obviously, he knows Bobby Wagner. He's a huge fan of Bobby Wagner, and as he and everyone else should be, Bobby's a future Hall of Famer. The Seahawks made a calculated gamble there on the second level, moving on from Bobby and Jordan, and instead obviously bringing in guys at one-year deals. I don't necessarily agree with Richard Sherman saying that they thought those guys would be better than Bobby. That being said, Brady, I wanted to revisit that decision now 8 weeks into the season. Was that gamble costlier than expected for the Seahawks, do you think?
I don't think it was. I don't think the decision to move on from Wagner was the wrong one, because I think eventually you just can't keep going with a guy who, as great as he's been, as great of a locker room guy as he's been, he's maybe the best defensive player in franchise history. At some point, you've got to get younger at that position, and you've got to find more of a long-term solution. So I don't fault them for moving on from him. I think the mistake was that they just didn't do a good enough job of finding a replacement for him. I think that the bigger thing that you can second guess is letting Jordan Brooks leave in free agency for, frankly, a deal that was not quite as expensive as at least I thought it was going to be. That was a manageable deal that I think they, I don't know the ins and outs of all their finances, but you could have easily justified paying Jordan Brooks that kind of money. I think the issue was that they also had to pay Leonard Williams, and they made Leonard Williams the highest paid defensive player in franchise history. So I think they felt like they couldn't do both of those. But I don't think the issue was moving on from Wagner. I think the more questionable decision was not paying Jordan Brooks and then not getting good enough guys in there to replace both of those guys. I've gotten the sense, and I haven't heard this directly, but I've just gotten the sense that Jerome Baker was not their first choice there, and that they sort of had to pivot to him because they maybe lost out on somebody else. But you just saw it. I mean, that's not to put all their run defense issues on Jerome Baker by any means, but I would say that he was as big of a problem as anybody, and that's why they traded for Ernest Jones. And look, they've got an opportunity there with Ernest Jones to make that situation right and to correct whatever error they committed, at inside linebacker, because I think he looks like he can be a really good impact player for them and maybe even a long-term solution for them. And I know that they gave up a 4th-round pick for a guy who only had, at that point, 10 games left on his rookie contract. I think the other side to that is, look, if you re-sign the guy that's fine. And nobody really cares about a fourth-round pick for a guy who's going to be a centerpiece of your defense. If you don't re-sign him, he's probably signing a big enough deal elsewhere to get you a comp pick, maybe even a fourth-round comp pick the following year. So the way I look at it is if you don't re-sign him, you've got a chance to basically – it would amount to trading a fourth-round pick for a fifth-round pick just because the picks lose a round of value for every year you push them out. So I think if you look at it that way, then they didn't give up a ton. And, yeah, they gave up Jerome Baker, but really I would look at that as they got Tennessee to take on the remainder of the guaranteed money in his contract. And I don't think Jerome Baker would have been on this team at $3 million if he was going to be a backup. So, they didn't give up Jerome Baker as much as they got Tennessee to take on his contract.
Another, I guess, big topic when I talk to fans and I read the text lines and is Witherspoon. Last year, it seemed like he was playing some better football, right? You have the big hits, the interceptions. He's yet to really have his moment. I think sometimes DBs get lost in their evaluation because they're kind of like offensive linemen. Unless there's some big play, you're saying his name, you don't really appreciate what he's doing out there. I have seen some missed tackles. Everyone misses tackles. How do you assess his play this year? I got some people on the text line calling him a bust every single day, and I'm pumping the brakes. I'm like, come on now, come on, let's talk about this.
Yeah, no, he still looks like a really good player. I think the interesting thing about his season is that they're not using him at nickel, I don't think, as much. Now, that's just anecdotal. I haven't really dug into the numbers, but they're definitely not blitzing him as much. And I think that is really where he has the chance to be a huge difference maker, is blitzing out of the slot. And he just, I don't think he's done that quite as much. And so you don't see the pass rush production. You don't see all the big plays that he's created in that way. I think the book on Witherspoon coming out of Illinois was that he's a really good corner. He may not be a super sticky coverage guy, but he still is a really good corner because he's so physical and he's so instinctive, and he can just make plays as a blitzer. And so I think that's probably the one question I would have is, are you really maximizing his talent and his impact if you're playing him more on the perimeter and not using him as much as a nickel guy who's blitzing and, really creating havoc on the quarterback.
He is ESPN Seahawks reporter Brady Henderson. You can read his work at ESPN.com. Thanks, Brady.
Thanks, Beat.
All right, thanks, guys. See you.
Bump, I don't think it's a coincidence that after you and I were talking about Taco Time and Taco Bell, and I said, and Curtis said, because we're Taco Bell heads, that Taco Bell was much more innovative, much more creative.
They push the envelope.
They push the envelope and think outside the bun in ways that we really respect. Curtis saw some breaking news.
What is it?
Taco Time is today, this is announced,
interesting timing,
coming out with spicy tater fries.
Interesting taco timing on that one.
Sounds awesome.
Man, it does sound awesome.
Sounds
You're
awesome.
right, it does.
I think this is, I don't want to put this on us, obviously. I think, though, this might be in direct response.
You know what this can't be? This can't be the Yankees' response bringing Fat Joe out to Ice Cube. Like, this thing better hit.
That's what I'm saying.
This better hit.
Like, you really saw all the celebrities that were going on and all the fireworks that were going on with the Dodgers offense. You saw Freddie Freeman at a walk-off grand slam, and you thought, we need Fat Joe. When we get back to the Bronx, we need Fat Joe. Call him now. On that Nokia flip phone he probably has, and get Fat Joe here.
Play Lean Back. Remember Lean Back?
I'm just saying, do you know how much New York makes itself the center of the universe that you didn't have? You didn't pull in all your celebrities.
Why? What's the main song you think of?
Lean Back,
New York,
right?
New York.
Empire State of Mind.
Yeah.
Get Alicia Keys. I know Jay-Z might be compromised right now. He's being accused of some things.
Well, he's got something more to focus on right now. It's a World Series.
You could have gotten Alicia Keys, though, to sing the hook.
Yo, and this isn't to disrespect Fat Joe, a big part of my teenagehood. You know what I mean?
Terror
Respect.
Squad.
Always respect. I just think that you need to fight fire with fire. And you are in a do or die situation. And whoever throws out your first pitch, whoever's singing your anthem, whatever you're bringing tonight, it better be like New York style.
Oh, I saw their first pitch Paul O'Neill, who played on those 90s Yankees teams as the right fielder. Hateable dude. Got into a bench clearing brawl with the Mariners in the 90s. That's who you're going with in Game 4? Paul O'Neill?
You make yourself the center of everything. You are literally the setting of every scary action movie on the planet. Like every Cloverfield style movie is about New York. You're already the center of the universe.
Hey, and my man slammed the mic down like he did something too.
You know?
I'm like, you're trying too hard. Joe, I respect Fat Joe. Like you said, big part of my teenage, just growing up and had some bangers, but ain't nothing like Ice Cube.
I'm just saying, it was a big moment, and they could have added to the list.
Yeah.
I don't know that Fat Joe was carrying that moment on his own.
They should have, They should have had multiple.
They
Fat
should
Joe
have
could have opened it up.
Multiple people.
He could have opened it up.
Yes, you are opening the game in the Bronx.
50 should have been there, though.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying, the Dodgers, I know they're in LA, but they had celebrities that weren't even doing anything. They were just there attending the game.
Yeah.
They were just in the stands.
And the difference is, too, when you look at the crowd, LA, it's better on the eyes. It's sunny. Everyone has shades on. Everyone's comfortable. Then you looked at the New York crowd, and everyone's bundled up. It's cold over there. Just the vibe was just different. New York, listen, hopefully you take this L tonight. But I need y'all to do better, man. That wasn't good enough.
Speaking of the World Series, it kicks off headline rewrites. Let's go quickly here.
Extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline 1, the Dodgers a win away from sweeping the World Series after beating the Yankees 4-2 in Game 3 last night. What's the real headline?
I do think it would have been cool to see Aaron Judge play in a World Series. I still regret that we didn't get
it's on the bucket list.
Bucket list. See Aaron Judge play in a World Series. I wonder what that would be like.
Aaron Judge and the gang have been struggling. I need you to do it one more time today. I beg you. 31 Ks this squad has. Only one really showing up is Stanton at this point. It's as a person who just appreciates sports in general, obviously my Dodgers are in, so I'm rooting for them. It's unfortunate that you're not getting just more punches being thrown from the Yankees. They're not doing it. They're not getting it done. They paid all that money to be in this moment.
You know what I mean?
They ain't doing anything.
An open hand
They're
slap.
not kicking up dirt. They're not doing anything. But I'm okay with it. As a Dodger fan, I'm okay with it. As a historian, someone who just loves sports, you want to see them put up a better fight.
From ESPN, the Yankees are obviously supposed to have the pitching advantage in this one and a great offense, but the Dodgers' first three starters have combined for a 1.62 ERA, which is the lowest for the first three starters since 2016. From our friend John Boy, I can say that now that he was on our show one time. From our friend John Boy, we call him James. He said the Yanks watched 24 four-seam fastballs go by for called strikes Monday, the most by them in a single game this season and the second most by any team this season.
Scared to pull the
trigger.
The
Twins were the other
Scared to pull it. You got to swing. Got to swing the bats, man.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 2, the Colts will bench 2023 first-round pick Anthony Richardson and instead start Joe Flacco this weekend. What's the real headline?
Look, a win for a 30-something-year-old quarterback is a win for all of us.
This is just good old-fashioned discipline. Son, you are the quarterback of an NFL team. You run the least when it comes to anybody on the football field. Even though you are a mobile quarterback, you do the least when it comes to stuff physical. I've seen quarterbacks walk away from games looking fresh, like they never even played a game. Why? Because you're dropping back, you're throwing the football. Mentally, it's a tough game for you. But the fact that my man took himself out, a quarterback, I have never seen that in my 20-something years of covering football, watching football, playing football. I've never seen that. I played quarterback in high school. I was mobile. I ain't never tapped out.
Temple could have had you.
Temple and Indiana, but I said no. I want to be a receiver. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's just, again, Benjamin Solak was tweeting about this yesterday before the news actually happened, but when it was certainly being discussed, and he said, look, I completely understand, Joe Flacco has outperformed Anthony Richardson, and Anthony Richardson is making some very poorly calculated risks here, including a horrible interception against the Texans. However, he has 10 starts and used a 4th overall pick. This is not benching This isn't benching Gardner Minshew. No disrespect to the Cougs out there. This isn't benching Gardner Minshew for Aiden O'Connell. You aren't sure if he's going to be better, but you're like, whatever. This isn't even benching Russell Wilson for Justin Fields or vice versa. This is benching your 4th overall pick when he's 10 starts into his career.
Sending a message. It's so simple. That is simple quarterback play. You do not tap out. You never tap out as a quarterback because you're tired. You better be hurt.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3, Mike McDonald said it's looking optimistic for DK Metcalf to return this week, but they still need to see him practice before making any decisions. What's the real headline?
What McDonald didn't say is that he'll be playing guard. Very cool for DK.
DK's
nice blocker.
He's got to be Travis Hunter from Colorado. He got to do everything. Offense, defense, special teams, O-line, D-line. He got to do it all. But hopefully he plays because, as Brady just mentioned, they didn't throw one pass over 20 yards. Didn't even attempt it. The threat of having DK out there opens up passing lanes. It helps you out. That's what they do best is throw the football. You got to be able to lean on them.
A wide receiver lands with a new team in a trade, and another lands on the IR. That's next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
It was really good to see him back out there on the field, a member of the Seahawks defense with us. Rick Wolin.
Me being able to come back and play alongside those guys this past Sunday, it was a lot of fun, even though we didn't get the result that we wanted. It's the NFL, it's a tricky way. Getting a win is hard in this league, so you got to keep being consistent and keep doing the little things right. Being disciplined. We're a disciplined team, but we got to be disciplined more consistently.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
All right, guys, you looking for a fun night out? It's Mike Salk here to remind you that Snoqualmie Casino is just the place to go, unwind, and have some fun, and to eat some great food. Make sure to check out 12 Moons. And then Vista Prime Steaks and Seafood has the amazing happy hour menu that starts at 4 p.m. And Falls Buffet, they're serving up all your favorites like the prime rib every day, the fresh pasta, made-to-order stir-fry noodles, pizza, salad bar, dessert bar. They make their pies every day. All with breathtaking views of the Snoqualmie Valley and Mount Si. It is Seattle's closest, only 30 minutes from downtown, Snoqualmie Casino. Please game responsibly.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check your sunroof is closed first before driving through the car wash.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, no. Wait, whoa.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
Point! Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace! You're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
I spray and scrub, but the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind, but Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
You know, we got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob. Seahawks Insider. Brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Now here's Maura Dooley.
The Seahawks' run defense was an issue again on Sunday, with Seattle allowing 164 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the Mike McDonald Show with Brock and Salk Monday, the head coach spoke about what he wants to see more of from his defense.
First of all, if you haven't been blocked and you don't make the play, that's kind of a problem. You know, so everybody's accounted for other than like the deep area of the field players. You have to be able to defeat blocks, and that takes controlling your man and then getting off of that guy and then making the play. So if you're falling forward, it's not from a lack of effort or a lack of toughness or mentality. It's just, you know, guys going full speed at you and you haven't beaten your block yet. So you're not in a very good spot to knock someone backward at that point. So I think you can attribute a lot to that.
The Seahawks Insider is brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. For the latest on the Seahawks anytime, go to seattlesports.com.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
This is Stacey Rost. Is that leaky faucet driving you crazy? Don't wait until it becomes a flood. Call Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air. At Ben's Plumbing, they pride themselves on 5-star service, where your satisfaction is their priority. Whether it's a stubborn clog or a complete plumbing overhaul, their team of dedicated professionals is here to help with no commission sales tactics. Just honest, reliable service you can count on. Call today at 206-789-5353 or visit Ben's.plumbing. That's Ben's.plumbing.
You probably noticed the temperature starting to fluctuate, and that gets even more pronounced at night. Is your insulation ready for the upcoming cold season? Let me guess, you haven't checked. You're like me, you don't want to go into your attic or your crawl space. Well, that's why Crawl Pros goes where you don't want to. It's Mike Salk here. They came out to my house for a free inspection and found my insulation wasn't up to snuff. So they showed me pictures of the problem, explained it, and then they got it all fixed. Now, Crawl Pros has partnered with Puget Sound Energy to provide special rebates on insulation work. So if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you may qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Don't wait for the temperatures to drop. Take advantage of these enormous rebates today. Call Crawl Pros to learn what's going on behind that crawl space and attic hatch for free. Again, if you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I had it in the snapshot, but 2 major AFC South news items to lead off NFL headlines. The first, Texans wide receiver Stephon Diggs tore his ACL on Sunday. He's out for the rest of the season. Really horrible news for him and the Texans. And then the Colts, we just talked about this, are benching officially Anthony Richardson in favor of Joe Flacco. These two teams just faced each other. Both of these major news items coming directly from a game between the two teams.
Yeah, so unfortunate for Stephon Diggs. You hate to see a player go down. When it's non-contact, you just expect the worst when it comes to stuff like that. And you lose a weapon. C.J. Stroud needs Diggs out there. So now Tank Dell is going to be relied upon a bit more. Nico Collins, is he back yet? Nico back yet?
I'm not sure.
Let me see. Nico, last game was 10-6. No, he's not there yet. So C.J. Stroud's going to have to be magical going down the stretch. Joe Mixon's been banged up as well. It's crazy how things happen in the NFL. This team was healthy and moving and doing their thing last year, but this is the NFL. What was the other one you said?
The Anthony Richardson.
Oh, yeah.
We already talked
I'm
about.
going to leave him alone. I'm going to leave him alone now.
Okay. Richard Sherman, a little upset with the Seahawks, this time for them letting go of Bobby Wagner a second time.
Seattle Seahawks look like they need leadership on defense. Look like they need a veteran presence to stabilize this defense. maybe a Pro Bowler, maybe an all-pro linebacker who's just played a lot of football, just somebody that's been there, that knows the team, that knows the city, that knows that. Don't get me started on the idiocracy that it is to watch Bobby Wagner walk away for the second time, not the first time, second time, Mitchell. And that is one of the more frustrating things of the offseason, because then you trade for a linebacker, you trade for Ernest Jones. Wait, you trade away the linebacker, you paid the money, but they were better than Bobby, I thought. But no, they're not. They're not. They were never, because there are things you cannot measure. There are things that he brings that you don't see day in and day out. There's a standard set, but people are so quick to move on. They're quick to say, oh, the new thing's the better thing. It's not.
Bump, what you think?
Richard Sherman is a guy that you want on your side. He is a friend. He is going in for Bobby Wagner. I don't think they got rid of Bobby because here's the thing. Bobby would bring leadership to this team for sure, 100%. He's 33 years old, and he was getting more expensive than they wanted to spend on a 33-year-old linebacker. I think that's what it comes down to. As far as leadership, I saw some leadership on the defensive line with Jay Reed holding the young man accountable. This is the NFL. I think if anyone knows, Sherman knows that it doesn't normally end beautifully in your NFL career. You get moved around. You play for different teams. He played for different teams. This is how the NFL works. And if Mike McDonald wants to build his defense, he has to have his guys out there. There's something that Bobby wasn't doing or was doing that he just didn't see value in. And he's 33 years old, and he wanted to get paid more than what they were willing to pay him. It's just business. I think Sherman's just a great friend. He's going to stand up for his guy Bobby, who's still playing some football with the Commanders.
I also will say that while I completely agree with Sherm that you'd love to see veteran leadership anytime you're transitioning with a new head coach, when things are going bad, you're losing 3-4 in a row, you want that veteran in there to set you straight, especially a veteran who's won a Super Bowl and been to another. That said, where I'll disagree with Sherm, and I don't know that either of us know definitively that we're right because we're not inside John Schneider's head. Where I'll disagree with Sherm, though, is I can't think the Seahawks truly believed that what they were bringing in was better than Bobby overall. Maybe better in pass coverage because by virtue of being younger, faster, but they knew that they were taking a calculated risk and moving on from Bobby and not having Jordan here. They were willing to take that risk. And it's a calculated risk because they only gave out 1-year deals. They didn't bring in Baker and sign him to a 3-year contract. They didn't sign Dotson to a 3-4-year contract. They signed them to prove-it deals. That does not tell me that they had a huge vote of confidence in these young linebackers. It tells me that they decided to spend their money elsewhere and thought, all right, let's see if this works.
They're transitioning. They are transitioning. And at the linebacker spot, they got younger. And like you mentioned, you signed a prove-it type of deal. I don't think Bobby would have been okay with a not even league minimum, but somewhere lower than where he values himself. Bobby had to make a decision for himself as well, him and his agent. Go somewhere where where they see some value in you, and they're going to pay you at least near what you want to get paid. It just wasn't going to happen here. With Pete Carroll moving on and things changing over here, there were some pieces that needed to be moved. And this is the NFL. It's going to happen to most people in this league. Either the NFL will get rid of you for good or they will move you to another team. Look at Cody Barton starting for the Denver Broncos. The Hawks didn't have a need for him here. Mm-hmm. The Broncos have a need for him there, and he's playing some good football.
If you guys remember, Trevon Diggs got into it with a Dallas area reporter after the Cowboys game just outside of the locker room. That reporter retweeted a video of Diggs helping chase down, I think, George Kittle, and then helping shove him out of bounds. But the reporter who said, "What is Diggs doing here?" was presumably implying that Diggs was making a career decision or not giving 100% effort. So Diggs then approached that reporter after the game and tried to call him out for it. Later, Diggs joined Micah Parsons' podcast, so this is from this morning, to give his side of the locker room argument.
After the game, I just happened to see it, and I looked, I clicked on it, I seen who it was. I was like, oh, he right here. I just saw you. So I went up to him. I just spoke how I felt. I felt like there was a lot of emotions, just losing, coming out the game. We fresh off the loss. I'm a competitor, so, I wanted to win. So, just a lot of emotions, and, I just kind of let my emotions get the best of me. But, at the end of the day, it still doesn't make it right for anybody just to be saying anything or just trying to throw dirt on your name or make you seem like you're doing bad or a bad job, because, I feel like I played my hardest game yesterday. I felt like I did everything I could. I felt like, You know, I was tackling, setting the edges, you know, just doing everything to help my team win. And for him to just try to throw that on my name, it just didn't sit right with me because you were, like, completely wrong.
What do you think?
I think he's right in some areas. It was after the game. He was emotional. They had just lost the game. They felt like they could have won. And he goes to the locker room. He still has his pads on. And he sees, okay, I just walked by this dude, and this is what he's saying about me. Really asking a question. When he went to that film room and he sat down with his coaches and his peers, I guarantee you he saw that and thought that's not my best effort. And hopefully he's able to be coached up and be held accountable. That wasn't your best effort. I've seen Diggs play for a few years now. That's not his best effort. And the reporter was doing his job and asking the question. I think it is emotional at times. And I've never had to play sports in the world that these athletes are playing in. I've never had to play in a world where there is this instant reaction to everything that you do. I muffed a punt when I was in the NFL. Could you imagine if Twitter was hot? Woo, I would have been off the team faster than I was. They would have been yelling to get rid of me. They're playing in a different environment. And I think that he might have overreacted, but I also understand and give room for emotion. These are real people, human beings. And he probably has a relationship with this reporter. He seems like he's a local type of guy. He covers him. He was right when admitting that emotions were there because the game had just ended. He was wrong when you look at that effort. Anybody who coaches football, you see that. Stacey, you never played ball. You know that wasn't his best effort. And he was being held accountable publicly by a non-coach. He didn't like that.
Also, like, there have been reporters, and we've heard these stories, who like cross a line and make things personal and take jabs when they don't need to. Typically, though, a reporter who's just kind of being critical of your play is, you're right, just doing his job. So you can't be mad if it's not like he's saying Diggs doesn't care about this team. Diggs doesn't care about winning. That's crossing a line. That's being personal. That's assuming the worst in a player who's out there, you know, doing whatever. Saying, like, what's up with this play? Like, this doesn't look like the Diggs I'm used to seeing. It doesn't look like full effort. Is him being critical.
Yeah. You got to soften it up sometimes. Hey, Wally makes a good point. I talked about Bobby and his agent. Bobby is his own agent.
Yeah.
So he had to make a decision that was best for him.
Last bit here, I mentioned as part of the tease that a wide receiver was traded. So the Panthers are trading wide receiver Deontay Johnson to the Ravens. Carolina gets back a 5th-round pick from Baltimore. We don't have enough time to dive into it, but that's okay. Just a minor trade. People anticipated that Deontay Johnson would be traded anyways, not just because the Panthers are struggling, but they held him out of a game this past weekend, and people were like, are you going to trade Deontay Johnson? So that did end up happening. Okay, coming up next, NFC West injury update for a major player and also a wild stat through 8 weeks. Don't go anywhere.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
It's a taste of reality right in your face, and you got to take it on the chin. We have to grow from this. That's who we are. You know, we're a resilient crew, and we need to grow. We need to grow. We need to look at everything, especially in the run game on both sides of the ball, and grow from it. And that's the mentality we're going to have, that we're going to get to the point we're going to get to, and we're going to chase it like heck until we get there. So it just needs to be more consistent from week to week as a coaching staff and as a football team, that we got to grow from it.
Don't miss the Mike McDonald Show the morning after the Hawks game at 9:30 on Seattle Sports.
If you're injured in the state of Washington, here's what matters. Who represents you matters. The experience of their staff matters. Their investigation team and track record of success matters. Davis Law Group was founded in Seattle and has been winning cases for more than 30 years. We know Washington State, we know our courts, and we know how to deliver the highest level of client satisfaction. And that's what matters.
0% financing. Yes, Mazda of Everett is offering 0% financing. 0% financing available on new Mazda CX-5s. 0% financing available on new Mazda CX-30s. 0% financing available on new Mazda CX-50s. 0% financing available on new Mazda CX-90s. Shop over 600 new Mazdas, available with 0% financing. Shop MazdaofEverett.com and click Get the Mazda of Everett price. MazdaofEverett.com.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linen, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do. Visit SUPLinen.com.
The holidays are here. Don't let your plumbing issues get the last word from your relatives visiting. Talk to the Hawk. When you need reliable septic, plumbing, and drain cleaning services, Flo Hawks is there. Right now, mention KIRO and get $25 off any home septic service, $35 off any home drain cleaning service, and $45 off any home electrical troubleshooting or repair. Just mention KIRO. Flo Hawks is the #1 name in septic and plumbing services. Talk to the Hawk. 1-800-FLO-HAWK or FLOHawks.com. That's 1-800-FLO-HAWK or FLOHawks.com.
Build better benefits for your employees with the MBA Health Trust. The Master Builders Association of King and Snohomish Counties offers quality and affordable health benefits for local construction businesses. Learn more at mbahealthtrust.com.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi, my entire family's obsessed with all things Wicked, but my kids can't stop watching the trailer, and now they're having a Wicked-themed sleepover. Do you think our internet can handle all of the streaming and memeing going on?
Well, we've engineered our Xfinity gateways to handle hundreds of devices at once, so they can all stay magically connected.
Wow. Are you a wizard?
I wish. No, just someone that won't let a bad connection burst your internet bubble. Now through December 31st, get thrillifyingly fast 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. Go to Xfinity.com to learn more. Keep the magic going from your screen to the big screen. And see Wicked, only in theaters November 22nd. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless bill and an auto-pay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply, currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary.
Shane Company knows fine jewelry. That means a lot when you're looking for a dream engagement ring, a beautiful keepsake, or the perfect gift. Come see us in store and compare our wide selection of diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in different shapes and sizes. Create your dream engagement ring and browse our selection of fine jewelry gifts. From diamond studs, tennis bracelets, birthstone necklaces, and more. With our everyday competitive prices, an unmatched free lifetime warranty, Shane Company knows how to work with your budget, not against it. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Or down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
You gotta love football season, but when it comes to your windows and doors, you don't want any fumbles. Steve Rabel here, reminding you to trust locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their selection of windows and doors can't be beat, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Right now, get 0% interest for 24 months with equal payments or 40% off qualifying installs. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Summer's over and you've had your fun, but now it's time to get back on track. Stop feeling frustrated and overwhelmed and start being excited about the new you that's possible. We want to be your teammate. No gimmicks, no tricks, no drugs. Just teaching you how to turn your body into a fat-burning machine and keep it off for the long term. We know the secret for fast and lasting weight loss using real healthy foods and lifestyle strategies designed to reset your metabolism. Schedule your free consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
I really appreciated how fast the program works. I lost 35 pounds in 8 weeks. I think I dropped 20 in just the first 3. It's pretty incredible. And in terms of the healthiness, yeah, it's real food that you're buying at the grocery store.
Our program has successfully helped thousands of people lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. You can start our program in person in Kirkland or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation today by calling 425-588-0080 or eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Looking for quality fencing? Look no further than Contour Fence. Locally owned and operated, serving the Puget Sound since 1984. They specialize in residential and commercial fencing solutions as well as fence repairs. Visit contourfence.com to know more about their services and use the code HAWKS10 for 10% off any repair or replacement. Schedule a free consultation directly on their website. Contour Fence, your trusted partner in fencing solutions. Visit them at contourfence.com today or call 425-481-7128.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Fresh off raising the 12 flag, Lofa Tatupu is going to join us in 15 minutes. Before we get to that, a major NFC West injury update, plus one stat that shows how it's been a weird start to the NFL season. Let's get to the injury update. Of course, it's about Christian McCaffrey. He's obviously missed the first 8 games of the season with Achilles tendonitis. He will remain, says Kyle Shanahan, in the Bay Area this week to do simulated practice stuff with an eye toward opening his practice window this weekend, November 4th, I guess Monday, technically. So that opens for these players a 21-day window, meaning potentially, let's see if I can pull up the Seahawks schedule here. Would that make him available maybe for their next meeting? No, November 17th. So he'd still presumably, I mean, unless he was activated within that window, make it back. He could make it back November 17th. But his practice window would open up Monday, November 4th, 21 days to be activated. Many games left to play still for San Francisco, obviously. Bump, this matters to me because when we had Bill Barnwell on, he said this could just come down to which team between the Seahawks, Rams, 49ers, whatever, gets healthier at the right time. The 49ers are getting healthier if they get Christian McCaffrey back.
Yeah, that's fortunate for him, unfortunate for the rest of the league, especially the division. Jordan Mason has done a good job filling in for Christian McCaffrey. He has games of 147, 100, 123. He has 3 touchdowns. He's kept this thing going, but there's nothing like having Christian McCaffrey out there. Mason has 10 receptions for 86 yards. McCaffrey would have been all over that. Timing is everything. We'll see when McCaffrey comes back. We knew this day was going to come for the Seahawks. You're waiting on Abe Lucas to see if he's going to be ready. George Fant, if he's going to be ready. It's all about timing. We knew it was happening. That's why it hurt so bad that you didn't win a couple of these games like the Giants, and then you didn't look good against the Bills. There's some games that you felt like you could have won and should have won. So get ready, because when he comes back, Purdy's going to look a little different.
Anyways, that's the latest NFC West injury update. Let's get to this wild stat. Apparently, 10 teams, again, that's almost a third of the league, have 2 or fewer wins through the halfway point of the season. Those teams, 1-7 Carolina, 1-7 Tennessee, and then 2-6 New England, Jets, Jacksonville, New Orleans, Vegas, Cleveland, Giants, and 2-5 Miami. 10 teams with 2 or fewer wins at the halfway point of the season.
What's messed up is that we beat 2 of those teams and lost to one of them.
I don't like that.
The 2-6
Giants.
And you only have 4 wins on the season. So you're beating up on the teams you're supposed to, and then you're losing to a team that you're not supposed to lose to. But this is just the season for the Seahawks. They're going to lose another game, believe it or not, Stacey. They're not going to win the rest of their games.
I know.
It's all about building and getting better. I know. Y'all don't want to hear that. I understand it. But take this team for who they are right now. They are a team that is still struggling defensively, but are working on some things and getting better personnel-wise. Let's give Ernest another week. Let's give Harris another week to kind of figure some things out and watch that film. And offensively, they're a team that struggles to run the football but can throw the rock and was missing their best receiver last week. And all that's just this is who they are. All right. 8-win team, 9-win team.
I find that important for 2 reasons. One, to Bump's point about this being like an 8-win, maybe a 9-win team. Anyone thinking like, oh, well, why don't you just struggle and then get a top 5 pick and turn this thing around? 10 teams have 2 or fewer wins. You are not getting a top 5 pick. It's too late. That ship has sailed and that ship is crowded. Okay? You are not getting that pick. The second point has nothing to do with the Seahawks. Bump, look back at this list. Which of these teams surprises you most? Like, which of these teams does not belong there?
2 of them. Miami, but we realize that Tua affect that situation, him being banged up. But it's the New York Jets. The Jets. Too much talent over there. It's over. If the Jets do not win 8 more games, which is going to be tough for them, that Aaron Rodgers experiment is over. You cut your losses, you move on. He's looking old, and have someone else try to revive his career. I feel bad saying that to Aaron because I hate seeing greats go out the way that he's going out. But this is football. This is a circle of life in the NFL. The Jets, you got all the talent in the world over there and not able to compete in a division that is down right now, too.
Truly, it's like, okay, with Carolina, 1-7, all right, you didn't have a lot of weapons around Bryce, and then you bench Bryce, who was playing poorly. You're just a mess over there, and it's a horrible ownership situation, too. With Tennessee, sometimes you're just cursed as a franchise, so I'm also not shocked. With New England, we were expecting this to be a massive rebuild for you. Same with the Jags, who were obviously just paid their quarterback, but still had some questions about whether or not they'd win the South or put up a competition. New Orleans surprised a lot of people. The Saints surprised a lot of people to start the season. They were 2-0 to start the season, putting up a ton of points. And people were like, is this real? Are the Saints for real? This is so surprising. Of course they're not. Of course they're not. They were playing to cover up their weaknesses and played well enough to do it for a while, and then those weaknesses were exposed. The Giants are a bad team. Miami's been without Tua. Man, the Browns. It's not like I shouldn't be shocked that the Cleveland Browns are sitting there at 2-6, because my number one answer would be the Jets. But Cleveland also has a lot of talent.
Nah.
Not a ton of pass catchers, but they've got a healthy Nick Chubb who just returned. They've got one of the better on paper offensive
the fact
lines.
that you just mentioned Nick Chubb first lets you know just
okay, fair.
Where Cleveland is
Very
at.
fair. Very fair.
They had a decent defense over there with Myles Garrett in the game. But nah, man, they messed up by letting Joey Flacco go.
Okay, of these teams, last question here before we hit break, which would intrigue you most if it ended up with the number 1 overall pick?
I'd say the Jets.
I know.
Because their roster looks pretty dang good, offensively and defensively.
So if you
then Devontae would stay.
You know, number 1 overall pick, and then you go get maybe Shedeur Sanders. I don't know. You just find some kind of
That'd be
quarterback
dangerous.
there.
Shedeur in New York, that'd be dangerous.
Man, they have not done well.
But
with
I don't know if you know
quarterbacks.
this. I don't know if you know this. They don't play their games in New York. The Jets.
The Bills do. The Bills. The Seahawks are taking on the Rams this weekend. Seattle Sports is excited to give away 4 tickets to watch the game in person. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, just text the word app, A-P-P, to 866-979-3776, and we'll send you a link to download. Enter for your chance to win. This contest runs through today. Lofa joining us next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
Lumen Field and the cantilever way in which it was built allows that stadium to be louder than it should be.
Isn't that where that song was written? It goes up and then it stays down.
Everybody's hands go up and they stay there.
Yeah.
And then they stay there.
They don't
all
go
I
down.
do is win.
Right. Why would the hands go down?
And then
they go down. And then that just doesn't make a lot of sense. He does say up, down, up, down.
Thank you. I don't honestly feel quite as stupid as I did right now.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's G. Scott. Since the beginning in 2014, Nourishing Neighbors has raised over $36 million to help food banks and other hunger relief agencies in Washington. The Albertsons and Safeway Foundation would like to sincerely thank all the customers, employees, and partners over the past 10 years. Nourishing Neighbors continues to support initiatives including food for kids, grocery cards for the holidays, and innovation grants, so please keep donating and volunteering. Visit nourishingneighbors.com to learn more.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. I'm a 5th-generation Pacific Northwesterner, graduated from UW and Seattle U School of Law. At Warrior Injury Law, we have years of experience in the trenches, fighting insurance companies for the people of Washington, my people. If you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law. Battle-tested.
Eddie's!
Key here is employee satisfaction. There is no expectation for customer satisfaction if the people that work with us don't feel taken care of and supported and loved. I'm proud of the Lee Johnson Auto family. I'm proud of our stores. And I need everybody to share in that mindset, because it makes a better experience for the customer. It also makes it a better place to work. Walking away from an interaction with a customer that says, I can't believe how easy this was. I can't thank you enough for helping me. Receiving a handwritten letter that's personalized to a salesperson or a service advisor or a technician expressing gratitude, and then taking that home and sharing that with your family and hanging that on your refrigerator, that's the difference.
The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Are you looking for a construction loan to build your dream home? Are you a local builder needing a better financing option for your next spec project? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Stop wasting time with local banks and credit unions and their endless guidelines. We're the experts for common sense residential construction loans. We lend our own money, we make our own decisions. And if your deal makes sense, we'll get it done fast with flexible terms. For homeowners, we advise you every step of the way with things like budget and timeline, ensuring the completion of your dream home. For builders, Legacy's not only your lender, we'll source your next deal, provide permitting services, and if you're short on equity, we'll invest alongside of you. Legacy Group Capital has lent more than $1 billion, helping over 130 local builders and hundreds of homeowners. We can help you.
Construction loans don't have to be hard. Borrow smart with a common sense construction loan from Legacy Group Capital. Visit LegacyG.com. LegacyG.com.
O'Reilly. Need a little help? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Need advice? We've got advice. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Exceptional customer service. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's football season, and Uber Eats is dropping undefeated deals on all your game day favorites. This week, score buy one, get one free spicy chicken sandwiches from Wendy's, only on Uber Eats. Craving even more? We've got you covered with game day deals on pizza, burgers, tacos, and more all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms, taxes, and fees apply. See app for details.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T level is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Text the word BOOST to 65555 to book your free T check. They have helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Text the word BOOST to 65555. That's BOOST to 65555. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Message and data rates apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help and stop to cancel. ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy policy for how to opt in. Info will be used in ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of service.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
From ESPN this afternoon, 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey, who missed the first 8 games of the season because of Achilles tendonitis, will remain in the Bay Area this week to do what Coach Kyle Shanahan described as simulated practice stuff, with an eye towards opening his practice window on November 4th.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
All right, continuing our coverage of the Seahawks here. Now, later this week, we're going to jump into a preview, take a look ahead to the Rams. We do have to spend just a little more time looking back to figure out what happened against the Bills. At the start of that game, you saw Lofa Tatupu raising the 12 flag. Lofa joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Before we dive into our analysis, Lofa, how was raising the flag?
Oh, hey, Bob Stacy, always awesome. Just grateful for the Seahawks and all the 12s. It was my second time raising the flag. I got
Veteran.
to do it back the home opener back in 17 against the Niners, and it's special. Just I flew my mom up for it. She got to see it, and the flyover, man, with the helicopters and the troops hanging back, it was awesome.
Yeah, Love, it was good to see you again as always, man. Let's talk some football. I was talking to Paul Moyer. He's watching film. We're sending texts back and forth, and he's just saying the defense isn't in sync right now. Was that the way? Is that a way you would describe the way the defense is playing?
Yeah, I think it's very accurate. By Paul, you just we were not attacking when it comes to the run game, and even in coverage, there was maybe 3 or 4 times I saw it's 3rd and 4 and bump as a receiver. If a guy's 7-8 yards off, that's pitch and catch, man. And a guy like Josh Allen, he's got that all day. So it was just unfortunate. I want to see them up there challenging, right? And I don't know if maybe sometimes we're maybe holding disguise a little too long when we have 8 in the box, and that's why the run game's getting going. It's just I feel like we just get back to the basics. If we're in an 8-man front, stop that run. We don't need to hide that shell and stay too high safeties. Just come on down and just wreak havoc.
It's like a Lofa hosting like a game show. Listen, guys, middle linebacker, come on down. Create a mess here. Please join me. And I'm sure it's frustrating. I imagine defensive players watch this and go, God, like you can probably still feel it in you, like attack, like take that play right there. You mentioned not attacking, and I think you're exactly right. But to simplify it for someone who might be listening, going like, okay, what do you mean? What opportunities are being missed? What's an example? And you don't have to name a player. I'm sure we've seen it from everyone. What's an example of like, here are some missed opportunities I'm seeing?
Oh, yeah. No, I think guys, just probably trying to do too much in terms of, getting nosy and maybe, if you got the gap, stay there and hold that line of scrimmage while other guys, the linebacker and safety, come down to fill. Or if your task was setting the edge, now this could be a DN, a linebacker, or it could be a safety. You must protect that edge and force it back inside. And so it's just everyone trusting the chemistry, buying in and just, saying, hey, not my gap is kind of how the run game gets buttoned up, top to bottom. And I mean, we all have a hand in it. It's all 3 levels from D-line, linebackers, and secondary. So just trust and, belief that, hey, I'm doing my job and just doing my part, and we'll get this figured out.
Hey, Sherm said this team is missing leadership, and he felt like Bobby Wagner could have brought that to this team and this defense. I know you're not in the locker room, not on the sideline, so it's hard for us to sit there and make, I guess, extremely accurate judgment when it comes to leadership. But do you feel that when you watch this team play? Do you think there's some leadership missing?
I don't think so. I think maybe accountability. And I'm not going to say Sherm's wrong. He was a leader in his own right, but I'm also not going to sit here. I'm not in that locker room. I'm not going to question the guys that are the leaders of that team. But we did see a little conflict, like fighting against ourselves in terms of, when we got that untimely personal foul, which, first of all, I thought it was a great acting. Just give Josh Allen the Oscar right now for best drama, because the way he flopped back on that hit, you're supposed to get 2 steps as the quarterback releases the ball. Now, I know it was helmet to helmet. Josh Allen looked like he timed it right by ducking into it. And either way, it's unfortunate. But then, we saw Hall and Reed go back and forth. And look, Jaron Reed's unquestioned veteran on there, that has earned the right to – not just, get in your face, but get on you, but just alert you to like, hey, man, we got to be smarter than that. And then it kind of escalated on the sideline. But just, we all have to play our part. And Jaron Reed's part is one of the leaders, right, as a veteran. And so in this situation, I'd like to see Hall, even though he is one of our better players, he's having a phenomenal season, just kind of understand that this isn't the time or place that, to get into an argument. We just got to be better, and I know we will, learning experience. But and then even on the other side, with Gino throwing the ball in that guy's face, Gino got hit like 2 yards out of bounds. So I don't know where the first flag for, late hit, why didn't that get thrown? But even Gino knows we just got to be smart in those situations. But, I mean, there was 11 penalties. Again, we got to get rid of the penalties is really what we got to do.
Yeah, Mike McDonald has a lot of pressure on him and a lot of expectation. And you know what? That's partly, I don't want to say the fault of media, but like all of us understood that like, oh, Mike McDonald, he's so smart. He's so brilliant. And I think when you get that kind of praise, people think, oh, great, you're going to save the day. So Lofa, maybe no one should be shocked that it's taking him a minute. But now that we're 8 games in, What do you make of Mike McDonald as a coach, and what do you make of him as a defensive mind?
I think he's a great coach, and I think, there was a lot of pressure and expectations, and I think he's handled extremely well. 4-4, I know we're third in the division, but the other two teams that are in front of us, they're also 4-4. I want to keep that in perspective for everybody out there losing their minds, right? And it seems like it's one of the most competitive in terms of win-loss records, just pretty even throughout. So this could be anybody's division, but there's a lot of ball still in front of us. We're at 500, yes. We'd like to have a couple more wins, and there's probably – only the Giants game comes back to me in memory of that was one we should have taken care of business. But that was on the heels of 3 games in 11 days, and I'm going to be interested to see the other 5 or 6 teams that have that same schedule predicament, how they fare with that, because that's a tough, task. But I'm impressed for a first-time youngest head coach to put a staff together. Arguably, he had the least amount of time to put the staff together, and then all the injuries we've gone through, expectations, I know they were lofty, but still, everything withstanding, all the facts that I take into consideration, he's done a great job, and I'm excited to see how we finish this season, because his teams have always gotten stronger in the latter half of the season. So dating back to even Baltimore, they started off slow his first year there as the coordinator and just picked up and gained momentum. And I think it was part of the trust that I'm talking about that they got to build. They still got to build that chemistry.
Hey, Loaf, I know it was only one game in, but what'd you make of Ernest Jones? What'd you see from him?
15 tackles. I mean, he was all over the place. And a good thing he was, because, they were running the ball at will. And I think that's the thing that alarms me the most is that, there's 5 teams that have rushed for 150 yards or more on us out of 8 games, and we get that fixed, we'll be good. But Ernest Jones, I've been a fan of his when he was at, L.A. Well, I'm actually not a fan of his, but just as a linebacker, loved the tenacity and athletic ability, and just, he comes downhill and gets it. And so I thought for a first time coming in, that's an incredible, standard to set, 15 tackles, and it's only up from here. And so going to get more familiar with the scheme. I know there's some carryover from Tennessee because his DC over there spent time with McDonald in Baltimore, but that's probably why they moved T-Dot over to the Will with the communication, because Ernest was probably left at Mike in this scheme and system. So it's only going to get better, and I'm excited to see what we get out of him. But, man, what a talent.
Hey, Lofa, what's one complaint or question you get a lot that you wish you could tell people to stop worrying about? Like, you wish you could just tell people, I'm not worried about this. It could be a player or, a facet of the game for the Seahawks.
Oh, man. I'm not – and you know what? It is dying down, thank God. I think I'm really getting across and connecting with the 12s out there that do have issue with our quarterback.
Yeah.
He is one of the best in the league. And – so that's what I'm excited that chatter's going away. This was probably, and this was after probably one of his toughest games. I mean, I think Gino, he's always been honest when he gets to that podium in a win or a loss, and he's a great leader. He's always sure to praise his team in victory, and then he shoulders a lot of the blame in defeat. And, man, he is one of the best in the league, and I'm always impressed with him, just extending the play, his pocket presence, I think he would tell you this was probably one of the tougher games. Seemingly, even though pass protection held up really well, when you don't have a run game, I think we had 32 yards rushing. Gino led us in rushing. It's tough sledding out there because then they're just sitting on routes, right? And then you don't have DK, who is our take the top off the defense, vertical threat. And so we were up against it, and the guys fought hard. The red zone miscues kind of just really made the game a different game. But this was the first time I just thought second half we got out. This game and the Giants game, there's the only games that we've always gotten stronger in the second half of the game, and these were 2 games that just didn't happen.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you see in the Seahawks run game that you think is hindering them from having success? I mean, you being a linebacker, being in the box, dealing with guards and the big boys and all that stuff. Your perspective, I think, is unique, man. What are you seeing when you line up, if you're lined up against this team and their struggles?
Yeah, I just I don't see many gaps to run or choose from, and I think when I was playing linebacker, no matter who it was, when a team ran the zone scheme, which means, okay, they might chip the double team, but then they're straight up to the second level. This opens up 2 or 3 potential holes for the running back to choose from. And all it takes is one guy in the, on the D line to miss their assignment or not trust and hold their gap, and the running back's out the gate. And so I think, if you mix in some of that, this is kind of like what a lot of other teams are doing to us. They're going straight up to the second level and seeing Dot and even Ernest, like they're having to deal with guards and centers right away. It just creates a little separation where there's waves and creases that a great running back like K9, Sharps, and Mack even, they can exploit that. And there was James Cook, phenomenal running back, but I saw like 4 runs where he didn't get touched for the first 6 yards. And any running back in the NFL is still going to get 4+ yards after that if his initial contact isn't until 7 yards down the field. So I just think that's an area that we could probably, try and get creative with.
Very related to Bump's question. I hate to ask you about lowlights, because you have so many highlights in your career, though. So maybe you'll be able to just lean on like, look, I was a baller overall. But was there ever a really tough running back or run game that you faced? Like, what did they do so well? And are there any teams anywhere who can still have a run game like that?
No, I was just an absolute savage. Never
made a mistake.
No. 2006, we faced the Niners. I think Frank Gore had 260 yards. And
God.
In my opinion, it was 2 games. It was 212, and then he had, or 360, 212, and then 144, I believe, at home.
Your ability to recall this is insane, Lofa.
It was more of a nightmare that I still haven't got over. Still PTSD there.
Fair.
But they had Larry Allen, and they had this incredible platform, in terms of the power and the counter, and they changed. So when they use pullers on powers and counters, it changes everybody's gap responsibility. And we were a very downhill, aggressive attack defense. And so all it takes is for one guy to mess up. And a guy like Frank Gore is going to find it. But, yeah, Larry Allen, the late, great Larry Allen, Hall of Famer, he paved a lot of lanes for some great running backs over the years. And it was tough. I'm going to tell you, we had to change up fronts. We had to get creative. We were so, the next year, our safeties were so good at playing quarters, which is 2 deep safety shell, but we would play them at like 7 yards flat-footed, meaning like, hey, we need you in run support first, and, if it's a pass, we'll run the corners over the top, and you can just slowly get underneath those receivers, but we're going to put 9 in the box. And I think we held them to 3 points one game, and we shut them out the other game in 2007. So we found a way to get creative and stop those problems. But, yeah, 2006 was very tough.
Loaf, you got some new beverages coming out, man. Let the people know.
Oh, yeah. Some more collabs with Savage Brewing out of Kirkland. So we got the Pilsner, which is mine. I feel like it's the best. The 51 Savage. But then made one for Walter Jones. It's the 71 Savage. It is a lager called Big Malt Jones. Everybody seems to love that one too. And then, of course, Cam Chancellor, 31 Savage. He got the hazy IPA. And, a lot of people have been telling me that one's better than mine, and I don't know if I like that.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. He is Lofa Tatupu. Lofa, I know that we are coming off a brutal loss here, but something about you joining us always puts us in a better mood. I know listeners feel the same. You're so fun to talk to and obviously so insightful. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks, Loaf.
Yep. What's up, Bump?
See you, Lofa. Again, Lofa Tatupu joining us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game. What former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, what's something the offense should do to help keep Geno clean?
You look at that first series of the game against the Buffalo Bills, there were 2 passes that were batted down. That means that defensive line is pushing the offensive line back, and they're able to get their hands up into throwing lanes and stop Geno from working. That's going to happen from time to time, and you have to deal with that. But how do you combat that? What you can do is move the pocket for Geno. And moving the pocket for me means sprints. Sprint left, You got a concept rolling to the side that you are going to. You got a backside shot if you need to. You have the running back who can be like your personal protector out in front of the quarterback if you need that. You can leak them out the other way, the backside. You just have to get rid of these tip passes. He threw an interception on a screen that Geno should have thrown in the dirt. But other than that, there are times where Geno is operating from a pocket that is just messy. And as an NFL quarterback, you're going to have to do that anyway.
Yeah.
It's never going to be perfect. But Geno is the third most pressured quarterback in the league. So how do you help your offensive lineman out? How do you help your quarterback out? You have to move the pocket. So that's what I want to see. Some sprint rights, some sprint lefts. It doesn't have to be necessarily a play action boot all the time. You get them in shotgun and you just move it. I think that will help create some throwing lanes, and that will create the intermediate game as well. And then once you start sprinting and moving left or right, the safeties are going to respond, and that backside shot can be open. And if DK comes back, he will be the guy running that. So move the pocket for my guy, please.
I couldn't remember who it was, the quarterback, that you were like, yeah, he's only been sacked like 5 or 6 times. Who was it?
Well, going into this game, Josh Allen had 8 or 9. Kirk Cousins had 8 or 9.
I think it was Josh Allen, where my mind was blown of like, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Dang. God. Second down. Paul Moyer had a take that you think describes exactly what's wrong with the defense. What was it?
Yeah, well, I asked Lofa about it, essentially. Paul said they're not playing in sync. And it made complete sense after watching the film, then talking to him, then watching the film again. Yeah, it makes complete sense. And in sync means everyone is moving together. When there is a zone and everyone's down blocking, you're moving with your gap. I'm sure Lofa can attest to this. He lines up over the A or the B gap, and that is his responsibility. If that gap moves, means that they're running a run play away from you, or they're moving the pocket, like I mentioned with Geno, hopefully using that in the game this week and sprinting to the left or the right, that pocket is going to move. So as a second-level defender, you have to move with that pocket because you are in charge of that gap right there. So, yeah, you know, that is something that shows the cohesiveness of a defense. When everyone is moving together on a string, like we heard KJ describe it that way a couple years ago. Yeah, got to be in sync. 2 guys in one gap, that is all bad.
Did anything stand out, especially from our conversation with Lofa, about the defense and about the run defense and what he sees? Or were you like, yeah, that checks out?
It checks out.
Third down.
He did a great job with that.
Something happened to the Seahawks that you're 90% sure. You can never be 100%, science. You're 90% sure, though, it'll never happen again. What was it?
Not making excuses for these guys. They got beat, and they got beat up. But there were moments in the game where they could have changed the feel of the game, the momentum. They could have shut the Bills Mafia up, but they didn't do that. I promise you, and I don't promise you, I'm 90% sure this year.
Yeah.
Okay?
You can never be 100%?
No. You will not see Geno be under center and trip over his center again. You won't see that. You won't. I promise you. I don't promise. Stop saying that, bub. 90% sure.
I'm pretty sure
that you're not going to see Connor Williams snap a football over Geno's head. It's just not going to happen. How often do you see that? This is not high school football on a Friday or college football on a Saturday. These are pros, and there are some things that just happen that you kind of just throw your hands up and say, it just wasn't our day. On that 4th down where he steps on or gets stepped on by the center, it was 7-3. 7-3. They had a pass concept that they were going to work, and one of those receivers were open. I synced it. I synced it myself. All right, me, Paul, B-Wall, Turbo joined us this week. We saw it. And then the other one, when the ball was over his head, it was 7-0. You could have tied the ball game up right there. 14 points could have been scored, and the play calling is different for the Bills. You feel a bit better about yourself if you are the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm pretty sure you're not going to see that again. These are professionals. They're going to drill it in practice. The quarterback to center exchange, our center to quarterback exchange has been pretty good this year. Things like that happen, and you just realize it is not your day.
4th down. I don't know why, but I was laughing to myself thinking of moments in my life, and everyone has those moments where you go, it's not my day.
Not my day.
You know what I mean? Like, let's say you leave, you stub your toe, you drop your keys, your belt hook gets caught on the door frame.
That's the worst.
You spill your coffee on yourself. There's a certain point where you just go, it's not my day.
It's not my day.
Not my day. 4th down. Why did you like the conflict between Derek Hall and Jaron Reed?
conflict can be good sometimes. If you have a significant other, I'm sure you've gotten to some conversations, some arguments, and if you communicate properly, hopefully at the end of that, you guys come out better. You come out stronger. And I'm looking at the situation with D. Hall and the penalty that he got on 3rd and 7. That's another moment that could have changed this game. If he doesn't push Josh Allen down and get that penalty, they probably kick a field goal. You're feeling better about yourself. But I liked that Jay Reed held him accountable. He's like, look, man, it's 3rd and 7. We need this right now. And you just took it away from us. I kind of like D. Hall getting back at him like, I'm a grown man. We ain't little no more. All right, I'm a grown man. But I also like that on the sideline, they talked about it and they smoothed everything out. That is football. If you played long enough, you've had those type of conversations and interactions with with the teammate. Hopefully not with your coach until you're in the NFL. NFL is different. You guys are both grown men. But in youth leagues, in high school, and college, you're going to have conflicts. Conflicts can make you stronger, and I think Jay Reed was in the right, holding this young man accountable. But I love the fire that D. Hall plays with. And in that moment, he goes, man, don't be talking to me like that. But then he calms down and he realizes Jay Reed is just trying to help me.
Yeah.
And he probably was frustrated at himself for getting that penalty. And sometimes you just lash out when you're being confronted. Conflict is good at times. Hopefully they learn from that. D. Hall doesn't make that mistake again. And Jay Reed showed in that moment that he's a leader.
You want to know the last conflict I got into with my significant other?
What's that?
We were debating Mount Rushmores of actors.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one. We had different Mount Rushmores. He did not include Daniel Day-Lewis on his Mount Rushmore of actors.
Okay.
Which I thought was a bold choice. He's
a multi-time Best Actor.
That's what
award
I
winner.
said. But after many, many hours thinking, he had Philip Seymour Hoffman, Benicio del Toro, Gary Oldman, and Denzel. And I said, solid, but not as good as mine.
What was yours?
Well, here's the problem. I kept backing out and changing mine. So I said not as good as mine, but then I never fully committed to 4. So my initial one was Daniel Day-Lewis, and I also had Denzel. And then I had Meryl Streep, because women can be actors too. And then, what was my 4th one? I'm blanking. Obviously, it wasn't a good Mount Rushmore. Do you know who would be on your Mount Rushmore? You don't have to have 4, but who would for sure be on it?
I know Denzel's on it for sure. Probably throw Pacino on that thing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'd have to do some research.
You
after
putting
that.
Meryl Streep on it reminds me of that line from Modern Family where I think it's Cam who's like, you could put Meryl Streep as Batman, it'd be the right choice.
Yes! Thank you. Thank you. Matt, who would be on your Mount Rushmore? Doctor Who?
Okay, well, I would pick Peter Capaldi, who played one of the doctors, so unfortunately, I've been burned. Gary Oldman and Denzel, definitely.
Right? Those are 2 solid choices. I will give
Surprised nobody
that.
said Tom Hanks yet.
Tom Hanks was not.
He's a multi-time Best Actor award.
He's never
winner.
moved me.
No,
What?
What
I don't
scene has
bump- I
Tom
don't think
Hanks
you're
just
wrong.
moved you?
I don't think you're wrong.
What,
Outside
give
of
me a
Forrest
scene.
Gump.
Or he just moved you?
Castaway. I mean,
when he's crying for Wilson?
Yeah.
Or did Wilson move you?
No.
I did cry when I watched Forrest Gump when I was little. I didn't have Tom Hanks on my Mount Rushmore, and I've got to be really honest.
I respect it.
I didn't consider Tom Hanks for
I
my
didn't
Mount
either.
Rushmore. So maybe that's disrespectful of me, but... all right, get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. Coming your way at 45 after.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
When they play well, they can beat most teams, but they are not good enough to get in their own way. They're not good enough to overcome mistakes that other really good teams can make mistakes and overcome them. They are, the old Bill Parcells. You are what your record says you are.
I'm not willing to go there yet. I feel like they can come back and possibly beat a good team, and they're going to get tested. Next week, if we're talking about a really bad game and a loss to the Rams at home, then I might be more on your side.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus. I want to talk to you about my friends at Contour Fence, man. They're locally operated and serving the Puget Sound area since 1984. 40 years in the game. They specialize in residential and commercial fencing solutions as well as fence repairs. If you got some panels missing, you don't want your neighbors looking through your fence, you want some privacy, keep your animals inside, they will help you out. You got a leaning fence, they will fix that for you, or just get a brand new fence. It's up to you. Hey, schedule a free consultation directly on their website. And when you do, use the code HAWKS10. That will get you 10% off any repair and replacement. The website is easy to navigate. You can check their reviews. Over 1,000 satisfied customers, man. They love Contour Fence, and so do I. Visit contourfence.com today, or you can call them 425-481-7128.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss. Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Hey, what are you doing up on the step stool?
About to clean these light fixtures. The whole family's coming over. And if there's even a speck of dust in the house, my abuela will find it.
Here, I got a Swiffer duster to help with that.
A Swiffer what?
A Swiffer duster. It has this cool extendable handle that reaches 6 feet to get high and low, with fluffy dusters that easily trap and lock dust.
So no more step stool?
No more step stool.
Easily trap and lock dust from hard-to-reach places with the Swiffer duster. Love it or your money back.
Uh-oh, looks like your plumbing just threw a Hail Mary into the wrong end zone. But don't worry, folks. Flowhawks Plumbing and Septic is here to intercept the mess. From busted pipes to clogged drains, we've got the plays that'll turn your plumbing fumble into a winning touchdown. Why risk a penalty? Call Flowhawks, the hometown heroes who will blitz that plumbing problem before it costs you the game. Because when your pipes are on the line, we bring our A game. Talk to the Hawk, 1-800-FLOWHAWK. That's 1-800-FLOHAWK.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino. Seahawks Insider, brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Now here's Maura Dooley.
The Seahawks have scored first in only 3 of their 8 games so far this season. They've managed to win 4 of those despite the slow start, but they would obviously like to find a way to start faster on a consistent basis. Geno Smith spoke about that after Sunday's game.
You know, we've shown that we can fight back and get back into games, but you don't want to make a living out of that. So, you know, for us, man, we talk about starting fast, 2 3 and outs to start the game. That's unacceptable. That's not the standard. Just the way that we started the second half, you know, didn't get points, had a turnover, not the standard. And so when you talk about all the things that we want to do well, I don't think we did any of those today. And so we got to look at ourselves, look in the mirror, and take it from there.
The Seahawks Insider is brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. For the latest on the Seahawks anytime, go to seattlesports.com.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Have you tried the dining district at the Bellevue Collection? Grab lunch with friends, meet up for happy hour, and stay for dinner and beyond. You can sample international flavors and local favorites from talented chefs. Try a new cocktail on a rooftop bar or watch the game with friends and explore the lively nightlife scene. The Dining District at the Bellevue Collection, where your taste adventure begins. Learn more at BellevueCollection.com/dining district.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know coming your way at 45 after. You can send them to the Mac and Jack's text line, 866-979-3776. Any questions, sports or not, text it now. First, though, let's head to the station for Hype Train. Getting things started here is a story from around NFL headlines. I think we got to this at 12:45. There are 10 teams to start the season, almost a third of the league to start the season with 2 or fewer wins. Carolina, Tennessee, New England, the Jets, Jacksonville, New Orleans, Vegas, Cleveland, the Giants, and Miami. Did that sound like a lot of teams? It is. This is your Hype Train. At least one of those teams will have a winning record by the end of the year.
At least one of those teams.
I don't know if the math makes it like necessary.
You know what I see all over this list?
What?
Booty cheeks.
Garbage.
Garbage. So I'm going to say the team who ends up with a winning record is nobody. None of these guys. No, I'm not on it. It's not going to happen.
Not even the Dolphins?
Not going to happen.
Not the Jets?
No, Dolphins look decent. You know, Tua's back. He looked good. He's sliding and stuff, getting up, swagging it out, pointing for the first down. The New York Jets are just a debacle. Aaron Rodgers, man, he just looks old. It's crazy. You know, you have that moment when you looked at your grandparents or your mom or your uncle or somebody and it hits you like, dang, they're getting old.
Well,
like,
first of all, my mom looks 30.
Yeah, my mom too.
So we can't say
let's
that.
talk about an uncle or
Let's talk
somebody.
about our uncles.
Yeah, uncle. I remember my Uncle Larry.
But
you know
yeah,
what,
but
you know what
yes.
I knew my Uncle Larry was old?
Yep.
When he got up at the cookout and started singing, I go, yeah, my Uncle Larry getting up there, baby.
Yep.
He looks smooth, but he getting up there with all that linen on. Yep.
Curtis, at least one of the 10 teams to start the season with 2 or fewer wins will have a winning record by the end of the year. Bump says no. Those teams once more: Panthers, Titans, Patriots, Jets, Jags, Saints, Raiders, Browns, Giants, Dolphins.
Boy, not a lot of them move me. The only one I think that could pull something off is Miami if Tua gets healthy. And I'm looking at their schedule that remains. They've got games against the Raiders, the Patriots, the Jets, the Browns, the Jets again. I could see a road to a winning record for the Dolphins. So I will board that train.
Okay.
Not feeling great about this train. I might be the only person boarding on this one, but I think the Dolphins of that group of 10 have the best shot at it just because of their remaining record.
Yeah.
Might be tough in weeks 9 and 10 at Buffalo, at the Rams, but after that, you can kind of see a roadmap where things get a little softer for them.
I really started to stare at it being like, with 10 teams at 2 or fewer wins, is there some kind of mathematical path where one of them must finish with a winning record, like by virtue of playing these other teams? Surely.
Sure, there's a way.
No, I'm not boarding this train. I'm with Bump. I debated it for the Dolphins along with Curtis. They just lost to the Cardinals. I know it was a surprise loss. It was 1 point, just barely, but I'm just not feeling great about where any of these teams are right now. And I think that something happens when you start a season. You get halfway through and you got 1 or 2 wins. Like something happens to that locker room, and you rarely see teams turn it around and make a run the way Detroit did a couple years ago. Next up, Dodgers take a 3-0 series lead over the Yankees. A must-win Game 4 for the Yankees in the Bronx today at 5:08 p.m. first pitch. The Dodgers finish off their World Series sweep tonight. That is the hype train bump, Dodgers fan. Are you boarding?
That's so messed up.
What are you talking about?
That's so messed up.
What's messed up about that?
Nah, they're not getting it done tonight.
Why are you saying that?
They're not getting it done.
Why are you not a believer in our Dodgers?
The Yankees are gonna win. They're gonna score
Bo's trying
7
to do
runs.
the reverse jinx here.
He's trying to mess.
7 runs. Shohei's not gonna do anything. Mookie's gonna be bad. Freddie's bad. Kike's bad.
You don't believe.
These guys are all
Max
really
is
You don't
bad.
believe.
These guys are all really good, Bum.
They're all bad.
They're all gonna.
Everybody's
they're gonna
bad.
do it.
Dodgers are not a good team. They lose.
Curtis, the Dodgers finish off their World Series sweep tonight. Bump, a Dodgers fan. He's trying to reverse jinx this
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. That's exactly what he's trying to do.
Are you boarding?
Yes, I'm boarding. The Dodgers have been the clear better team in this series. It makes you wonder, though, what would have happened if Game 1 had gone the Yankees' way, how this series would have finished out. But that's the past. This is the present, and the gift is going to be that ring on the Dodgers' finger. Bars.
Wow. Wow. I'm also boarding this train. The Yankees in 3 games are hitting 186. Aaron Judge 1 for 12. I understand that this feels like a sleeping giant just with the amount of talent they have and power they have in that lineup. And I keep waiting for it to show itself because there's no way, right? There's no possible way. But with the way they've been playing, it's just hard to imagine that suddenly happens. I would love for this to go to 7 games. No offense, Bum. I know that's not great for your heart health, but I would love for it to go to 7 games because I so enjoyed parts of this series, but it just hasn't felt like New York's in this thing at all. They are gasping for air, and I think this might be it for them. Next up, Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young, both benched. That is 2 of the top picks in the 2023 draft that are now benched. Both players will get their starting jobs back next season.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson for sure. And I think Bryce, you have to roll with Bryce. You're not going to bring in Andy Dalton again. You have to allow the young man to develop. The reason why, I think one of the reasons why they brought Andy Dalton back in was because obviously Bryce wasn't picking things up. So what do you do this offseason? You spend some time in the playbook. You get on the field. You watch film. You get more better. You got to give these guys a chance. They're going to get their job back. Anthony Richardson's going to get his back next week.
That's what I'm thinking.
He's going to get it back on
what.
Sunday. He's going to have a couple series off, and then he'll be back in there.
Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young will both get their starting jobs back in 2025. Are you boarding this train as well, Curtis?
Well, I think, yes, I'll board the train. I think the investments made in both these two are just so significant for both these teams that you kind of have to see what you still have in them. Richardson, though, I mean, his completion percentage this year has been terrible. I think he's at, 44% as in the entire season, 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I mean, something is up. I wonder if that shoulder fully healed. He just has not looked like the guy that is worthy of a top 5 pick. And Bryce Young, boy, I mean, number 1 overall pick. You can't cut bait on that unless
in year 2.
Yeah, in year 2. We're only halfway through year 2. And Dave Canales is supposed to be this great quarterback coach. I would imagine he's going to try to see what he's got from Bryce Young. But yeah, I think both of them get their jobs back eventually. For Anthony Richardson, though, I mean, Joe Flacco still a decent quarterback. If the Colts start winning some games here, it's going to be tough to hand the reins back over to Anthony Richardson.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know. Text any of them to the Mac and Jack's text line. Sports, non-sports, it doesn't matter. Text your question now. Mac and Jack's text line, 866-979-3776.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
It's a taste reality right in your face, and you got to take it on the chin. We have to grow from this. That's who we are. We're a resilient crew, and we need to grow. We need to grow. We need to look at everything, especially in the run game on both sides of the ball, and grow from it. And that's the mentality we're going to have, that we're going to get to the point we're going to get to, and we're going to chase it like heck until we get there. So it just needs to be more consistent from week to week as a coaching staff and as a football team, but we got to grow from it.
Don't miss the Mike McDonald Show the morning after the Hawks game at 9:30 on Seattle Sports.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi, my entire family's obsessed with all things Wicked, but my kids can't stop watching the trailer, and now they're having a Wicked-themed sleepover. Do you think our internet can handle all of the streaming and memeing going on?
Well, we've engineered our Xfinity gateways to handle hundreds of devices at once, so they can all stay magically connected.
Wow. Are you a wizard?
I wish. No, just someone that won't let a bad connection burst your internet bubble.
Now through December 31st, get Philip-Buyingly fast 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. Go to Xfinity.com to learn more. Keep the magic going from your screen to the big screen. And see Wicked, only in theaters November 22nd. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless plan and auto-pay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply, currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary.
Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. With rising interest rates and banks and credit unions continuing to tighten, the demand for our private portfolio loans has never been stronger. Therefore, for a limited time only, Legacy's Opportunity Fund is paying 7% interest on short-term cash with just a 90-day commitment and a 30-day notice to withdraw. It's the perfect place to park your short-term cash. And at 7%, I would challenge you to find a better short-term opportunity in the marketplace today. Don't let your short-term cash sit in a savings or money market account when you can get 7% with Legacy's Opportunity Fund and join the over 800 local investors with over $200 million invested.
Act now to receive Legacy's Opportunity Fund one-time offer of 7% on short-term cash. Visit Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. Legacy Family of Funds investments are available to accredited investors only. 7% APR is current rate for the Legacy Group Capital Opportunity Fund. Terms and conditions at LegacyG.com.
Upgrade your furnace or heat pump with Home Comfort Alliance, and for a limited time, save up to $4,000 in combined rebates, or enjoy 12 months same as cash, no interest financing on a new Lennox system. Call the comfort people. HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Don't let cold season make you miserable. Try the quick drug-free solution for nasal congestion, Navage. Navage uses gentle suction to flush out your sinuses with refreshing saline, helping you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier all winter long. And here's even better news. Navage is now available at select Costco locations in a great new value pack. It's everything you need to start breathing better fast. Check out Navage at your local Costco today. Navage, Navage. Breathe easy.
Hey, Riverside Roofing is back with us for yet another year, and we're so grateful for Don, Jordan, and Brandon for allowing us to tell their story. Local family business, excellent work, all rooted in trust. You can find them at riversideroofingllc.com, the roofing company you can trust.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Summer's over and you've had your fun, but now it's time to get back on track. Stop feeling frustrated and overwhelmed and start being excited about the new you that's possible. We want to be your teammate. No gimmicks, no tricks, no drugs. Just teaching you how to turn your body into a fat-burning machine and keep it off for the long term. We know the secret for fast and lasting weight loss using real healthy foods and lifestyle strategies designed to reset your metabolism. Schedule your free consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
I really appreciated how fast the program works. I lost 35 pounds in 8 weeks. I think I dropped 20 in just the first 3. It's pretty incredible. And in terms of the healthiness, yeah, it's real food that you're buying at the grocery store.
Our program has successfully helped thousands of people lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. You can start our program in person in Kirkland or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation today by calling 425-588-0080 or eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. Your burning questions. Text them into the Mac and Jack's text line 866-979-3776. What I need to know, says one listener. What I need to know, am I going to regret going to the Rams game this coming weekend?
Maybe. That's this team. You just don't know. You don't know. They could come out and be clicking. They could come out and be tripping. They can come out and click and then trip. You just don't know what you're going to get with this team.
Or trip and then click.
Exactly.
You never know.
You never know. They keep you guessing. That's the experience of being a Seahawk fan this year. So just show up, cheer hard, don't sell your ticket, and help your team out.
I think that the good news is it sounds like you could be going to a game where DK Metcalf is back in action. So there's the good news for you. You're going to have a healthier Seahawks team that you get to watch. Let's hope that they take advantage of a Rams team that's been kind of hot and cold this year.
Yeah.
What I need to know, if this goes to Game 7, this being the World Series, Bump, you got to watch the whole game at Target. There's something there.
Yeah.
So Bump watched the Freddie Freeman walk-off grand slam at a Target because he was working. You were in the Bay.
I was in the Bay Area with all the Giants fans, and I'm the only one getting hyped in Target watching it in the entertainment portion of the deal. When's let me see when if it goes to 7.
It's like November 2nd or something.
That is a Saturday.
It's like November 5th.
Yeah, so it's the 1st and the 2nd. So if it goes down on the 1st, if we make it to that game, I will go to the same Target because I will be in the Bay Area again.
Nice, please do. For us, for our Dodgers. What I need to know, Dump and Stinky, have you ever gone head-to-head and putt-putt? No.
Nah.
No.
But I'm a good putter on Golden Tee. I really am.
It's the same.
Completely different than
I feel like it could be
golf.
similar because isn't the point of putting just be a robot?
Essentially. You have to read the line, though.
I don't know what that means, but
Well, there's also way more factors you got to consider in putt-putt than
Okay,
Golden
Curtis,
Tee.
you've obviously never played Golden Tee because
You've
there are...
obviously never gone to putt-putt.
Well, the course that I just played had rhinos on it. A swamp, giraffes. Then the next one had joggers because we played in Central Park.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
You know, I'm not very good at anything I've ever done. What I need to know, I hear some people, this texter, I hear some people like to get inebriated and then go online shopping. Some people. Have you ever surprised yourself with an Amazon purchase? Like, wait, when did I buy this?
Yeah, I got one the other day. I bought this Seattle cap, and I came home and
you said, "What's this?"
It was on the bed. And I'm like, "What the heck is this?" I have to look at my history. Go, clearly I bought it. My kids don't have an Amazon account, but yeah.
No, never anything from Amazon, I don't think. But I have done the thing of like, just an overpriced Uber Eats order. That in the moment you're like, this is a great idea, and then the next day you're like, why did I do that?
I used to
Why
send
did
my
I
mom
pay this much money for a Subway sandwich?
from Washington. I would send my mom food through DoorDash. She'd say, oh, I'm hungry or something, and I'd order some food, like $60 for Red Robin or something like that.
Aw. What I need to know, did you eat the chicken Big Mac? It's a battle for me.
Curtis, didn't you say you were going to do it?
I was going to, but then I saw that McDonald's had an E. coli outbreak in the state of Washington.
Related to the new chicken Big Mac?
No, it was like I think it's their onions that have potentially been infected with this.
But you didn't want to risk it. You didn't want to roll the dice.
I'm calling a timeout on McDonald's
Are you getting
until
back
they get
after
this.
it?
Until they get this thing figured out, we're going to stay away from McDonald's.
So once the E. coli outbreak is on lock,
you're
getting back in there for that chicken Big Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, don't give up on it, Curtis. We're waiting to hear updates.
I don't want to get E. coli, Stacey.
I don't want that either, but sacrifices need to be made. What I need to know, what's your favorite wing flavor?
Ooh.
Wing flavor?
I mean, buffalo's.
Yeah,
right?
Buffalo. I'm basic.
Yeah. I really do choose that one over almost
Barbecue's
anything
good,
else.
yeah.
I love like a honey barbecue or anything like that. But no, typically, you know
Lemon
what I don't
pepper?
like? I don't like lemon
You
pepper,
don't?
and I don't like garlic parmesan. Garlic parmesan, always overrated as a wing flavor. It's always very dry. I'm being a hater,
You
and
don't
I
like
know
the dry
that.
wings.
I don't. What I need to know, if the Dodgers close out tonight or in any of the games, Bump, will you cry tears in years of joy?
No.
Oh, tears of joy, I think they
No.
said.
I'll tell you one thing. Freddie going yard grand slam, that moved me. I didn't cry, but I was like, man,
What if?
this is amazing.
What if Freddie hits a home run tonight?
To win it?
4 home runs,
Oh, yeah.
4 games.
No, if he hits a bomb to win it, then I might cry. Then I might.
What I need to know.
But they're losing tonight.
You mentioned that Wendy's would be your place that you would go if you were like, okay, I'm taking the boys out after this win, but we can only go to a fast food place. They said, what's your go-to item then?
Oh, the Baconator all day.
This person gets a burger and chili and dips the burger in the chili.
That sounds bomb. That sounds
You guys have
bomb.
very different reactions.
I mean,
like,
I'm not against it, but like that is.
You dip
that is
meat in
some
meat,
stoner
bro.
meat. That's
that's
a
exactly
stoner
what
meal.
you're doing.
That sounds amazing.
Someone said it's just like the flu, Curtis. Take one for the team.
No.
I don't think it is, but I like
flu
it.
shots, right?
I'm 6'5", says one listener, and I tend to hit my head on the basement door frame or the heating duct once every few months. Has Stacy ever, in her entire life, hit her head going into a room? Love you guys. No.
No, maybe at a playground when you're little.
No.
No?
I've always been the smallest. Everywhere I've been my whole life. Yeah.
It's a badge of honor.
It's truly. No. Have you guys ever done that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Curtis, are you taller than Matt? Or is Matt taller than you?
I think Matt's taller.
Matt might be taller than me.
Like barely.
Yeah.
What I need to know, what's the best 90s chick flick / romantic comedy?
Never Been Kissed.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a really good one. I'm not Josie Grossi anymore. Curtis, what's yours?
90s chick flick.
90s romantic comedy or chick flick.
They had Clueless as theirs, the 425. That's a pretty good one.
Clueless is a great one.
Yeah.
I think I would go Clueless as well with the listener. I think I can quote almost every line from that movie. What I need to know, 866-979-3776. Someone else said that they went to the Rams game where the Rams completely blew the doors off the Seahawks and asked a similar question saying, is it a bad idea to go to this one?
Nah, you show up. Let's go.
That game has no bearing on this one.
I think that the
Just want to make you feel
Rams-
confident heading into this one.
I know that the Rams have Cooper Kupp out there. I know they got Puka Nacua back, and Puka went for over 100. I do think the Rams beating the Vikings has people thinking the Rams are like way better than they are, and they've had some major flaws.
This whole division is jacked up. You never know. This is the NFC West. You never know.
All right, you guys, that will do it for us today. Make sure to download the Bump and Stacy podcast on seattlesports.com or wherever you get your podcast. Wyman and Bob coming up next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
When they play well, they can beat most teams, but they are not good enough to get in their own way. They're not good enough to overcome mistakes that other really good teams can make mistakes and overcome them. They are, the old Bill Parcells. You are what your record says you are.
I'm not willing to go there yet. I feel like they can come back and possibly beat a good team, and they're going to get tested. Next week, if we're talking about a really bad game and a loss to the Rams at home, then I might be more on your side.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After